Good morning. It's now time for another edition of Freedom with Steve Nichols. Brought to you in part by Sam Dennis Law, personal injury attorney, methodical, prepared, and battle ready. And by Kilby Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, dental care for the whole family. Now, available on Facebook, YouTube, Discord, and freedomnetworks.com each weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Here's your host and last best hope for freedom, Steve Nichols.
Good morning, everybody. Wake up, you bunch of sleepyheads. It's time to get up and get going. This is Freedom with Steve Nichols, broadcasting live from the SGAwater.com studio in Valdosta, Georgia. Appreciate you tuning in. If you're local, please go to SGAwater.com and schedule your free water test today, or call them at 229-251-1100. That would be great. You need to know what's in the order. You drink it, you cook with it, you bathe in it. It's a simple test, takes about 10 minutes. There's no charge for it. Gives you the peace of mind to let you know what's going on with your water. And if there is a problem, they offer a very easy solution for it. So just give them a call, 229-251-1100. Ross Automotive sponsors our prayer and our pledge that we kick our day off each and every day with. 432 Connell Road. They're open till 6 p.m. All your automotive needs, whether it be big or small, routine maintenance. They offer free brake checks, 10% off to all currently serving military personnel as well as veterans. And he just does a great job. He takes care of his customers, as many people who listen to the show have used him, and give him rave reviews. So make sure you go see Ross Automotive today. Also, if you got something you need to park, like an RV or a trailer or something like that, he's got some space out back. Talk to him about that too. But Ross Automotive, 432 Connell Road. Let's go to the Lord in prayer this morning. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today, Lord. We remember what happened 21 years ago on September 11th, Lord, when almost 3,000 folks lost their lives, Lord. It brought our country together, Lord. May we somehow grasp that sense of unity moving forward, Lord, and never forget what happened that day, Lord. Never forget the feeling of patriotism we had as our country was under attack, Lord. I pray for the souls and the families for all of those who lost their lives or were injured in the 9/11 attack, Lord. We weren't on there yesterday, Lord, but it was on our minds, and may we never forget. Bless this country, Lord, as we move forward going into this November election. May we find the candidates that best represent us out of the ones we have to choose from, while at the same time, Lord, we pray for a path to get back to you through our government, through the way we live our lives and the way we operate here in this country, Lord. Guide us, continue to keep us, Lord. It's in your name that we pray, and we love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, 229-469-1417. That is the Valdosta transmission hotline. If you've got something on your mind, I'd love to hear from you. Lots over the weekend. Let's start with Friday. I was out Friday. Thanks to Larry Godwin for filling in for me as I went over and took the time to drive to Alma, Georgia to eat breakfast with my grandson, Sam. It was grandparents' day. It was called Grits and Grandparents. So I was able to go over there and get over there early and surprise him. And it was just a treat for me. And I know he enjoyed it as well. Got back and did a little work on Friday, a long day Friday. Went to the Cook Clinch game Friday night. Saw several listeners there. Appreciate you guys saying hi to me. And it was rain. It was Southwell Appreciation Night, but the Cook Hornets put it on the Clinch County Panthers. I think it was 43-13 was the final on a very wet night. Then, of course, Saturday was rainy and wet off and on during the day. Watched a lot of college football. Saw our Georgia Bulldogs win. We saw Alabama survive. We saw Notre Dame lose, which was just a blessing because I can't stand them. But a good weekend of college football. The Georgia Bulldogs have found themselves back on top of the college football rankings as we ended the year last year. So we are ranked number 1, Alabama 2, on down the list. And then Sunday was September the 11th, and we remember again what happened almost 21 years ago now. On September 11th, 2001, of course, almost 3,000 people lost their lives during the attacks at the Twin Towers, at the Pentagon, and aboard United Airlines Flight 93. At 8:46 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11, traveling from Boston to L.A., hit the North Tower at the World Trade Center in New York City. And then again at 9:03, United Airlines Flight 175, traveling from Boston to L.A., hit the South Tower at the World Trade Center in New York City. And at 9:37, American Airlines Flight 77, traveling from Dulles, Virginia to L.A., hit the Pentagon building in Washington. And then again at 10:03 Eastern, United Airlines Flight 93 that was traveling from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco crashed in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It was a terrible, terrible day in this country. I remember it as well. I'm sure you do as well. I know right where I was. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget what happened that day, and I'll always have this feeling I have this morning on that day and the days around it, where our country was attacked by a bunch of cowards, and just a terrible day. But it was a day of remembrance yesterday, and I was reading through a bunch of things, and I just read one simple quote. There were several quotes listed in an article I read. I read one simple quote. This was from Sandy Dahl, who was the wife of Flight 93 pilot Jason Dahl in Shanksville, Pennsylvania in 2002. She said, very simple, short statement: if we learn nothing else from this tragedy, we learn that life is short and there is no time for hate. That quote just stuck out to me, and I just thought I'd make a note and read it on air this morning. So if you got anything you want to say this morning, anything in the news you want to talk about, please give me a call, 229 I must give my cell number, 229 469 1417, and we'll get it on there. The Democrats are freaking out in these sanctuary cities, and now they've declared emergencies. Imagine that, over migrants coming to their cities. That's crazy, man. Crazy. It is. It's just, it makes me laugh. I can't help it. It just absolutely makes me laugh to hear that. Charles Shepard reporting that former Atlanta Braves pitcher Anthony Varvaro, who retired to become a police officer, was killed in a head-on collision yesterday on his way to 9/11 ceremony. Is a terrible tragedy. Yes, it was. It was a terrible tragedy. I hate to hear that. Larry Mitchell says Roll Tide wasn't pretty bad. It was a win. Y'all better be lucky that not one but two Texas quarterbacks got hurt. Of course, the starter got knocked out of the game, and the other was limping around. He couldn't hardly do nothing. The Tide dodged a bullet, but every year, good teams find a way to win in adversity, and the Roll Tiders found a way, but boy, it sure did look ugly. I will agree with you on that. 229-469-1417. King Charles addresses the UK Parliament. He is now the king, the grand poobah. The world is fascinated with the royals. I don't get it. Y'all keep on enjoying that. I just don't give a rip about the royal hierarchy. Last I checked, we whooped England's ass, and anyway, y'all know that story in the Revolutionary War. Biden's controversial Title IX rule bombarded with record number of comments from concerned parents. President Biden's proposed changes for Title IX has stirred up controversy that they've generated a record number of public comments for parents, many of whom are concerned about their children's safety in schools and what the amendments will mean for women's sports. The Biden administration proposed new regulations on the 50th anniversary of Title IX, which prohibits sex-based discrimination in schools, to expand the protections to include sexual orientation and gender identity. The Defense of Freedom Institute for Policy Studies recently released a study highlighting what they called the dirty dozen defects of the draft. The defects group said, has fired parents up. Most are those that would require schools and colleges to allow biological males to compete in girls' sports and use bathrooms and locker rooms that correspond with their gender identity. It's time to rise up and put a stop to this mess, folks. It really is. It is imperative that you let your school boards, your schools, or whoever we need to get the message to, our legislators on the state levels, that we don't want this kind of stuff in our schools. The time to do it is now, not to wait and react to a policy. You need to make it clear to each and every board member in your city or in your county that you don't want this. You don't need to react. You need to be proactive here. So let's just make sure that we're doing that. Don't let it. We can't control what's going on in California or these other places, but we can control what can go on here. But I'm telling you, if you don't head it off at the pass, you behind the 8 ball. Big California landslide has stranded drivers, and they were airlifted to safety away as their cars were swept away. You can read that on the Fox News feed. Another Biden official expresses interest in the state's car ban, California gas car ban. Interesting. EV adoption must happen quickly to beat climate change, says Mayor Pete. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg on Thursday appeared to heap praise on states' efforts to fight climate change, particularly California's gas car ban, which go well beyond policy set at the federal level. In an interview with Fox 11, The Issue Is, that aired Friday, Buttigieg was asked to comment on California's plan to ban new gas cars by the year 2035 in favor of electric vehicles and whether that could be a national model. The ban was passed just days before the state began struggling with keeping the lights on during a late summer heat wave. Buttigieg evaded answering directly whether the Biden administration would implement a similar policy, but said it was interesting that some states were trying to go above and beyond what we're doing at the federal level. I'm really interested in these developments, he says. While we continue to set a national policy that's the baseline for all of this, we need to move in the direction of electric vehicles. Now, again, nobody really has any sort of a problem necessarily with electric vehicles. If they're out there and they're available and people want to buy them, most don't see a real problem with that. We just don't, well, that's just great. I just got a text message from my computer. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little worried this morning about my computer. Can somebody give me a call on the hotline? The computer keeps blinking off. I can't pull the phone thing up at the bottom like I normally do. So if you will, someone give me a call, 229-469-1417, just to check this phone situation out. And if you try to call and there's no answer, text me or put on the thing here that you tried and it's not there. I just need to check 469-1417. So somebody please call. A bunch of people on here. So it's one of them things where everybody's looking around at the next guy to see if he'll do it. Or you gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. You gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. Or maybe y'all are doing it, it's not popping up. That's a concern here. So let me know you tried and it didn't work, because it's not going on. I guess since y'all ain't gonna do it, or maybe y'all are trying to do it, I'm gonna try to do it. Let's see if it works here. 469-1417. Oh, Larry has not. Wonder why that's going straight to the thing. Let me see if I can get this. Okay. All right, y'all just bear with me here. Let me see if I can figure out how to turn this thing on. I think we had a lightning strike or something here over the weekend. Yeah, it knocked the phone out. Is what's happening. We'll get it up and running here just a second. Y'all bear with me. We'll get it figured out. But anyway, we had a lightning strike because everything was all whacked out, but I got it going pretty easily, actually. But the only thing I don't have is the phone. So, all right. So we should be okay, I think, as far as the phone. Let me see if I can get it to ring on here now. No, it's going directly to voicemail still. All right. That's just great. Not going to be able to have any phone calls this morning, it doesn't look like. I'm going to try it again. I don't know how to fix that. Let me see if I can find it down here somewhere. Y'all bear with me. But I'm not thinking that we're going to have a phone unless something, hope we didn't knock it out somehow for like permanently. I don't know what he's got a passcode on here. I don't know what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. See if that did it. No, it didn't. Well, we've got to have a way to get this rolling here. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break, see if I can get Larry on the phone. Maybe he can, he's going to be mad because I woke him up, but he's just going to have to get up. Anyway, y'all hang tight here. I'll take a quick break. I'll be back as soon as I can, but I want to get this, right. So just hang loose. All right, I think I got it actually. Y'all can try again. 229-469-1417. I actually did it, I think, without any help from Mr. Godwin, who wouldn't answer the phone. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. Well, we did do it, didn't we?
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear, brother. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, 10-4. I got it figured out. It just, we had evidently a lightning strike. It, the surge protector did what it was supposed to do, but had to restart everything. And miraculously, I got it done, JT, all but the phone. So I'm getting
That's what
better
I'm
at
talking about. You coming right along
it. I'm going to grow up one day, ain't I?
there.
Now, hey, since you called
So,
I got to ask you a question. I know that you are a Georgia fan. There's
So
no
I
doubt
wanted
about that.
to fill y'all in real quick. I talked to Miss Metzger, who is the lady I was telling you about going to inform us about Title IX
Yeah.
and all this stuff going on in the school system. She's in a transition right now.
Okay.
And so, because who she's with right now, I think it's Care Now.
Right.
They're a nonprofit organization who help pregnant women and single mothers, and so she is trying to find another source because she don't want to interfere with what's going on with those folks and not lose their 501c3.
10-4, I get it. I totally understand it.
Here within another week or so, she's going to make this transition, and she is more than happy to come on the show.
Yep.
And tell everybody what's going on. She has a plan how we can combat this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited that we can push back on this, and we're going to know how to do so.
Yeah.
So here in a week or so, you'll be hearing from her, and we can start informing everybody what's going on.
10-4. Well, I'm glad you got that connection there. We'll be leaning on her. I talked about it a little bit, as you probably heard, when the show started, but it's something we need to be concerned about, and we need to head it off at the pass. We need to be proactive. We don't need to wait till it comes to our neck of the woods. We need to get out in front of it. I'm sure she'll tell us how to do that.
Yeah, she has a plan, and this lady is very, very smart, and she's been doing this for a very long time now. She's been involved in this since they started with the sex education in the schools, and she was telling us that's when it all started going downhill, because in the data you can see to where whenever they implemented sex education in the schools, teen pregnancies went up instead of going down, because we made children aware.
Yep.
You know what
right.
I mean?
That's right. Well, it's I don't know exactly. I'm sure it's going to be challenged in federal court and all, but I think that his executive order or his attempt to implement it, and I don't know exactly how he's implemented it. Is it legislative? I just got to do some studying on it, but I think it starts today, or the initiative was supposed to start today, as far as as far as transformers and being in women's sports and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, she was saying that that Title IX will kick in fully next year.
Next year, okay, all right, gotcha.
They're going to try to put it in our schools, which she's saying the stuff that's already in our schools that we're not even aware of.
Right,
blow your mind.
10-4.
10-4. She's gonna get on here and give us some information. She's gonna tell us how we can combat it.
10-4. Keep me posted, JT.
All right, buddy.
All right, 10-4. 229-469-1417. Larry says, "What's it doing?" I fixed it. Go back to sleep. All right, 229-469-1417. Good morning, caller. You are on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Hey, morning, Steve. Y'all are exactly right. The sexualization of our children, instead of kids just growing up and, being kids, they're forced to decide at 4 or 5 what gender they should be, or things like that. And this whole sex education thing is not dedicated to the mechanics of it or anything like that. It's getting the areas that are just plain weird, or as an adult you should decide on, not when you're 5 or 6.
Yeah.
That's just insane to me. And we've allowed it. We've simply allowed it. Again, the leftists have been relentless in their push, and we just sit back, go fishing on Saturday or Sunday, drink our beer, and we're good.
Yep, you're right.
And we wonder why we're losing. We wonder why. They don't sleep and they don't stop. That's just the absolute truth of it. And you've been preaching the truth forever. And some people listen, and then some people, well, the Democrats can't be that bad. And then this is what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do about it anymore. We've tried voting. That doesn't seem to work because, if we happen to stumble into electing a Republican, they pretty much go along with what the Democrats want. So I don't know, Steve. What's the solution?
I don't know the solution, as you well know. No, I've tried to come up with one. Nobody's really. There's been a few people that sees the logic in it, but the fear, I think, is just the fear is just too much. And I get it. It's the fear of this right here, the Title IX stuff. I mean, our children are our most vulnerable in society. They're the ones that need us more than anything. And my fear now has become, if I employ my strategy, I now see that there's just too many people out there that are too scared to do it because they fear that if we aren't successful the first pass, then we give total control to the Democrats, who are going to invoke updated Title IX things like using transgender bathrooms and participating in women's sports and stuff like that. And it's going to slip away to the point it can never come back. And that we need to just try to hinder and stop it as best we can. So it's starting to look more logical to just try to do that with, but the problem is you lose so much ground in other areas by doing that, I don't know the answer, Theo. I don't. I know one thing. We've got to stand up for what's right. When the Democrats took God out of their platform, that should have been a red flag to everybody in the country, and it wasn't.
Well, they booed God back in 2012.
Yeah.
They booed him 3 times. The mere mention of God was booed. I mean, they made no bones about it. They wanted nothing to do. Their God is Moloch and whatever that is. And we just sit back and they are basically beating us like a drum. They are absolutely winning. I think in this election coming up, there is a Stacey Abrams, to her credit, is out there rounding up votes. There's nothing similar on the Kemp side, nothing similar at all, and that's across the board. They know where their voters are, and they're going, like, when you mentioned, of course, that Stacey went to VSU and rounded up her little voters who go to these classes on gender studies, on feminist studies, all that crap that should never ever feed you. But these little college kids who, are supported by their parents, that kind of thing, they laugh it up, and they're going to be in buses going to the polls.
Well, I mean, people fear that, but so far, I mean, polls and I'm just looking at how many people showed up to the Abrams thing the other night, from what I was told, and the numbers are down, and I don't think the energy is there on the Democrat side now. It reflects in the polls. I just think this is just me personally in Georgia. With the governor and in most, you see Herschel Walker's now pulled ahead of Raphael Warnock in the polls. I just think the Biden economy, man, is again, like I've suspected all along, people vote with their wallets, and I just don't see. I just don't see it, brother. I do not see the Democrats winning in Georgia. And I don't see them being able to take the House. I think the Republicans will take the House. Now, the Senate, I don't know about the Senate. The Senate's a toss-up right now. I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I can actually see the Democrats gaining a seat in the Senate, but we'll see.
Sure, I
do
too. I absolutely do too. And that's just sheer incompetence on the Republican side. the problem that what Donald Trump has been doing, he's been funding the primary challengers. They win, and then he cuts them off in the general. So that kind of strategy, I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter if you win the primary if you don't win the general. It's really that simple.
Yeah, I think I don't want them to take it for granted, but I do think they're relying on internal polls. I mean, that has consistently shown him to be up pretty handily outside of the margin of error. It's averaged he's averaged a 5.5 lead over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 polls, since January. I hope he ain't taking it for granted, but I think he's going to win. I'm not concerned about it. I could be wrong. Now don't confuse the two, but I'm telling you, I'll be utterly shocked if Kemp loses this election. I'll be utterly shocked.
I'll be honest with you. I won't be shocked.
There's nothing to indicate anything other than a victory. Yeah. There's just nothing.
Yeah. Well, I go up to Atlanta regularly,
mm-hmm.
and it's nothing but Warnock, Abrams, and of course, as you know, the you go up to Atlanta, you run into Atlanta quicker, as soon as you leave Macon, bam, you're in the Atlanta suburbs already.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, just the sheer numbers alone,
Well, I mean, what is the reason? Well, I mean, you got to have a reason to go vote, and there's just not a reason. And when I say this, I'm talking about a uptick in the number of voters, something that drives them to the poll. What is there on the Democrat side besides abortion? But but we're in Georgia. We're not nationwide, and the polls in Georgia indicate that people are pro-life in Georgia, not pro-choice. We are above the curve in Georgia, so I don't buy that as being some rallying cry in the state of Georgia.
Well, for their base vote, for the Democrats, for liberals, abortion is their sacrament. It is their absolute sacrament. It's like it's important for you to go to church on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for them, they feel the same way about abortion, and almost a religious fervor. They believe in it, and God help us or Moloch help us if we take that away from them. So we have to understand this. We're thinking, oh, that's crazy, but for them, it's a whole different matter. See, you have to understand the liberal mentality. It is their sacrament, it is their right, and they enjoy it. They seem to.
Well, I can tell you this: if Stacey Abrams wins this if she wins this race, now she had. I was nervous the last time. I mean, I thought she had a chance, and it was razor thin and all. But if she wins this one, if she beats Brian Kemp in this political climate, in this economy, it's game freaking over for the state of Georgia.
It is.
It's it. We won't come back unless she inflicts so much harm. If she suddenly inflicts the harm, the Democrats will stay there forever. If she goes in there too robustly, then we might have a shot to get her out of there the next 4 years. But I think it's game over if they win. But I think she has no shot. I think she has no chance.
Yeah. Well, we're rapidly becoming California. There is nothing that Gavin Newsom over there in California can do that would ever cause the Democrats to lose. I mean, there literally is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He can jack their taxes up double. He can do whatever. He can inflict whatever pain he wants on them. And guess what? They will continue to vote Democrat.
Yeah.
Once the state goes blue, it stays blue or tends to stay blue.
Mm-hmm.
So
have you made your decision on who you're going to vote for? You voting for Stacey or Brian?
Well, I'm going to vote for Brian.
Yeah.
It's just too. She's just too dangerous to have in there. But I'm not going to vote for Rassenberger. I've said that. I'm absolutely not going to vote for Rassenberger.
Who are you voting for in that race? You voting for Charlie?
I'm really leaning towards B. Wynn, just to make sure he's out of there. We have to get him out of there. We have to get the people around him out of there. You know, these are Democrats. These are liberal Democrats. The only difference between him and B. Wynn is openly going to stab us. This guy
So
right
you're
here
gonna
went
you're
on
gonna go
several-
cast a vote for someone you know is gonna stab you.
Oh, I'd rather have that. Oh God, yes.
Why not just not
Yes,
vote for him? I don't get that.
But you know, I didn't say. You know, look, I am not fully convinced I'm going to vote for her, but I'm not going to vote. I am not going to vote for Brad Rassenberger. I'm just not.
You don't have
It
to.
will not
I'm
happen.
not. I'm not either. I mean, I'm not either. But I ain't voting for the Democrat.
But I want him out of there. I absolutely want him out of there. But you know, and I'm still floored that he actually won the overwhelming majority in the primary. You know, and the problem is the two candidates that we had, Belle Isle and Heiss, were cannibalizing each other. So of course they gave the opportunity for him to slip on in there. So I blame those two right there. Republicans are stupid. It was like it up in Alaska. You had Sarah Palin, who can't win the majority, and then you had this other guy, and Sarah gave away the seat, of course, and neither of them will drop out against the Democrat, and the Democrat's going to win again. So
Yeah, that voting system up there is one of them. What I can't remember what you call it there, but it's a popular
the ranked choice.
Ranked choice. That's right. That's the ranked choice
Yeah.
system. It's very
Well,
weird.
it's like this. Here, the Republican, not Sarah, but the other guys, they'll vote for him, but they won't vote for Sarah. And Sarah is the same thing. They'll vote for her, but they won't vote for him. They'll vote for the Democrat. So either way, both of them are screwed.
Yeah. Real
They
quick,
hate
let's
each
go.
other
Who cares about Alaska? Let's come back to Georgia real quickly. Who wins, Warnock or Walker?
Walker.
Really?
I'm gonna say that I think he has and it's not because Walker's campaigning great. Don't get me wrong, but Warnock's commercials have gotten so over the top that it's actually turned off people.
I think
If
the
I-
commercials that the Republicans are running against Warnock are tearing him a new one right now. That's what I
Yeah.
think. I
Well,
mean,
you
that
gotta keep
whoever is in charge of running them commercials against Warnock are doing a fantastic job. That is some powerful, hard hitting commercials right there. That I tell you what, if you are a Warnock supporter and you see that and you wasn't aware of it, you're gonna scratch your head on that. You're gonna scratch your head on
Yeah.
some of that.
Well, it's about time. We've been screaming about it forever. You have to have devastating commercials.
Mm-hmm.
If
You got
were
to. It
running
helps to
Steve-
have someone like him and with a record that is pretty easy to pick off. That's why I
It
keep
is.
saying this about the Democrats. I mean, running against the Democrats right now, it's an easy thing to do when it comes to traditional campaign tactics. I mean, there's a plethora of information out there to throw in their face. I mean, this is easy pickings right now. And if the court, everybody celebrated the court's Dobbs decision and the abortion decision, the gun, everybody all celebrated. But in hindsight, we probably would have been better off for that to happen after the election, because there was there wasn't nothing going on that was going to gin us up to go vote. We were already there. But now it just gave the other side a reason to go vote. And nobody could control that. I get it. The court's not political, so to speak. But at any rate, I think the Walker Warnock race is a toss up. Polls show Walker ahead 0.5. I mean, that ain't. I mean, they're deadlocked. So we'll see what happens there.
And look, the Georgia Bulldogs are doing pretty good. So there's a good feeling about them.
Oh,
that
yeah.
might transfer over to
Herschel. Maybe so. I don't know. Maybe so.
I don't know. Sometimes politics is like voodoo, but I'm just hoping that Kemp will not take anything for granted. I hope he doesn't. I've criticized him rightly for if we're having a Democrat staff, but I'm hoping he knows what he's doing. I really do. Look, Steve, you're doing a phenomenal job as usual. If you're ever taken off the air, I'll know that It'd be like Stacey Abrams winning. I know it's over.
That's right.
I know it's over.
Appreciate the
Hey,
call,
I'll
brother.
talk you too, man. Bye bye.
Bye bye. 229-469-1417. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a prediction. I don't have a prediction on the Senate race. It's just to me, I don't know. I don't know if the debate is still on. Maybe it is. I don't really know. I hadn't kept up with it, but if the debate is still on, it could shift dramatically as a result of that debate. Or if they don't debate and things stay the same, I can't get a read on it. I can get a read on the governor election. I think he's going to win. He won by 12 or 14,000 votes. He'll win by 25 or 30,000 votes, maybe 50,000 votes. I think he's going to win. It won't be easy, but I see no way that Abrams can beat him as we sit today. Now, that can change. No doubt about it. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I just don't see it myself. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But y'all better hope I'm not. 1 month, 27 days, 16 minutes, 39 seconds to the election. Aaron Spike says you can vote for whomever you want, but guess what? Evil will still flourish. Well, we know that, and will be validated as normal and moral. So I personally think nothing will change. Both parties are progressive. If they weren't, then good moral politicians would be calling a break from this union, but you don't hear that at all, or at least I haven't heard it. The problem is party politics. If you're talking about the Republican Party political candidates and the Democrat Party political candidates, Aaron's right. But as much as you want to think they do control it, we still do have a say in this thing with our vote. But again, our problem is this is just my analysis. We're going to go up there and we're going to choose between the two candidates they want us to choose from. It's my contention that the powers that be, those that control things, the corporations, the factions, the unions, they want their guy or girl to win, but they're not too broke up as long as the choice is one of these two choices. That's what they want. And that's the problem. Until we're bold enough to step outside of that, then we're not going to do it. The danger of stepping outside of that is look here. If we all said, look, we're and when I say us all, we all, I'm talking about the people that are listening to this show, which is unfortunately a drop in the bucket. I mean, not even a drop, a half a drop, a third of a drop, a tenth of a drop. If we all said, you know what, Steve's right. Don't vote R, don't vote D. Let's rally around one candidate and let's write so-and-so's name in. And we're going to lose. We all know that. Not enough votes. Probably won't even make the news. And then we run the risk of the Democrats walking right in the White House, the Senate, the House, in the state level, the federal level. And then here we go. Things like men playing in women's sports going to be a common thing. Men using women's bathrooms going to be a common thing. Now that comment right there, that'll be isolated and broadcasted over these people that like to get on YouTube. And there's 4 of them now that like to get on YouTube and dissect what I say and twist it. That's what they're going to do. They're going to take that and say, look here, he really thinks that the Democrats are for men using women's restrooms. And they're going to mock that. But they won't put the difference on there. They won't put it in context of what I'm saying. They'll say that a transgender isn't a man no more because they identify as a woman, and they'll twist it into something that it's not. And guess what? We'll let them do it. Now, when I say let them do it, yeah, we may bitch, gripe, and moan about it, but ultimately we're just going to let them do it. We're not going to do anything else. But you know what? Until we start going up there, until it happens, you got to make a pledge to yourself and a pledge to your country, a pledge to your founding fathers. No more. I'm telling you right now. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. When a boy goes into the girls' bathroom at my girls' school, every swinging soul on this damn radio is going to know it. I promise you. (229-469-1417). Let's take a look at the weather real quick. Today, cloudy skies this morning, followed by scattered showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon. High around 85, winds light and variable. Chance of rain is 40%. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms early, then partly cloudy after midnight. Low of 71, winds light and variable. Chance of rain is 50%. So the rain's not completely out of the area, but it does look like it's going to dry up for a few days. You got starting tomorrow through Thursday, 15%, 7%, 24%. So that, excuse me, is a welcome relief from the rain we've had. The rain report. I should call it the rain report, right? The weather report brought to you by Recycle Center of Quitman, 900 Boundary Street in Quitman. They're open at 9 a.m. this morning. You can call them at 229-563-5300 for all your recycling needs. Don't forget, if you got some sort of junk car laying around at the house, it's in the weeds on the backside of the farm, and you want to get it out of there, you can turn that thing into money, man. Just give them a call. Give Zach a call this morning and say, hey, could you come take a look at this? Can I send you some pictures of it? Work out a deal. He'll come get it if it's within reasonable driving distance, and you get a little change. If you got some steel, some junk metal, copper, aluminum, whatever you got, give him a call. Turn that into money and clean your yard up. It's all a good thing. Win-win for everybody, right? Fish and game forecast. Fish are biting according to the graph, or the prospect of them biting is good right now. Humps way up in the good range at 4 a.m., 9 a.m., 4:20 p.m., and 9:30 p.m. It's time to go fishing. Get out there and do it. Compliments of Plantation Creek Real Estate. Reed Hall can take care of the sale or purchase of your recreational tract or your home, just a lot, whatever the case may be. Give him a call. Look him up on Plantation Creek Real Estate on Facebook. If you need his number, I'll be glad to furnish it for you. Also, go to Plantation 59 Apparel up in Tifton, right there by Tractor Supply in Tifton, or look up Plantation 59, the number 59.com, and check it out. Just a great place to shop there. 229-469-1417. Taking a look at some of the other news outlets. This is interesting to me. Been watching the Ukraine war a little bit, and it seems now we don't know the strategy, and I ain't been following it. I'm just giving you the news that I read, and whether that's accurate or not, I don't know. I'm just telling you, but it looks like a pattern has developed over the last several weeks that I've noticed. It seems like Russia's getting their ass kicked. I may be wrong. Maybe he's like, pulling them in and making them have this false sense of security and about to blow them up. I don't know. That could be the case. But right now, according to reports, in the last week, Ukraine has recaptured more territory than the Russian forces have captured in all their operations since April. That's pretty doggone good. 229-469-1417. Call back if you will. I'll be glad to talk to you. What else? French president calls for Russia to withdraw from nuclear plant. Democrat John Fetterman makes abortion rights push in Philadelphia suburbs. Now, that race up there in Pennsylvania is a tight one. And that's a pretty tough choice for senator up there if you live in Pennsylvania. That's two, in my opinion, two cuckoos. One's just more cuckoo than the other, and you get to that depending on if you're a Republican, you think that Fetterman's a cuckoo. If you're a Democrat, you think Oz is a cuckoo, and I get that. But to me, you got I guess it's just a microcosm of what's going on in the rest of the country. You got to vote for the lesser of the two cuckoos, right? To me, it's pretty simple. You can't have John Fetterman in there. I mean, he's to the left of Bernie freaking Sanders, for God's sake. I mean, you can't do that. 229-469-1417. Give me a call. The last caller, I accidentally clicked the wrong button and it cut them off there, so I apologize. Fetterman is a nut bar, Ronnie says. I agree. Oz and Herschel in the Senate, that would be awesome. Well, I don't know if that's this is how sad it is. I don't know if Charles is being serious or it's joking, because I honestly think that's hilarious myself. But anyway, it's just me. 229-469-1417. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. What's on your mind?
Morning, sir.
What's happening, Captain?
Out here riding around, brother.
I hear you. I heard that, man. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of dry weather over the next 3 days. I'm sure you could use it out there at your place.
That's what I was calling about. I mean, I'm glad, because me and you are friends, and I wouldn't want to do this to you. I'm glad you changed the weather for me this week.
I was pressing your last nerve, wasn't I?
Man, I'm telling you, I was sick. You know, in the Clint Eastwood movies, when he comes into town, he walks into the motel, and he walks up there to the proprietor of the motel right there, and he says, "I want the room overlooking the street with the window." And the guy says, "Well, there's somebody in there." And he says, "Well, get him out." I'll spit right over there. I'll spit right over to RCQ Equipment and tell him to get you out.
I hear you. I heard that. Yeah, I do not proclaim to be the world's greatest weatherman. Now, I've never said that. I just give you what I got. And then sometimes I'm like every other weatherman. I'm about 50-50.
Dude, you've been spot on. I don't know, whatever you want to say. You've been when you call down the rain, it shows up at the Tularosa. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, it hadn't been hard I was talking to my next door neighbor yesterday. He's had a hard, season fighting his grass because his lawnmower stayed tore up, and then he finally found another one. It's just, having to cut grass, at least once a week. And like he said, really, you almost have to cut it when you got Bermuda grass. You almost have to cut it twice a week. I mean, it grows so fast because Bermuda was, that's hay, and you want the hay to grow fast. So,
yeah.
But it just, when you build your house in a hay field like we did and like he did, you end up with grass that grows alarmingly fast. And it's just, it's been a fight. And if you have one breakdown, you get behind, and then, man, it's just been tough. But we stopped, side by side, mower by mower, and discussed all this yesterday. It was pretty cool. And he had a great conversation with him, and he's back on top now. He's retamed the beast. So we both got our grass cut yesterday, just in the nick of time.
I did not get mine cut yesterday. It's so wet out there at the house right now that my poor old dog Pogo, he's done got the boat tied up to the back porch.
Oh yeah,
trolling motor hook so he can go potty.
Just in case. That's right. Yeah, it is wet, man. It is wet. And we've caught back up, and I know that because in my backyard, it's wet, and I ain't telling you nothing you don't already know.
Negative, sir. I'm trying to get some spraying so I can get some food plots planted. And it ain't working. I just don't feel like going out there and getting stuck all.
That's right. That's a whole nother issue. And me and Charlie went over yesterday to put some corn out for the deer, so we'd have something to shoot, so we could put it in the freezer and sustain ourselves through the winter. Like they used to do. And there was literally, I couldn't just take the corn and scatter it out. I had to pour a little here, a little there on little hills so it wouldn't be down in the water. That's how wet it is.
I haven't been able to put no corn out.
Yeah.
Like you said, I just don't want it to sour out yonder. So I haven't been able to do that either.
Yeah.
Speaking of being caught up, I've been fighting beaver issues ever since I've been out there.
Oh yeah.
I have one that he knows what a trap is.
Oh, he done learned it.
My boy is smart. Somebody done told him. He done pulled up YouTube and been watching how that thing works.
Yeah.
And he's been hanging around for about 3 weeks. So if any of y'all, any of y'all want to
match wits with the beaver,
Steve's got my phone number. Contact him and come on out. I don't mind paying. If you get rid of that son of a gun, I ain't got time to go out there and sit at night and shoot him.
Yeah,
So,
the beaver bounty. You got a beaver bounty out there.
got a beaver bounty.
Yes, sir.
You was talking about the voting this morning, and I'm gonna change subject and get to the point that I really called about. The thing about I can't remember the woman's name, but up there in Coffee County,
Kathy
where,
Latham.
yeah, her.
Yep.
I want to get one with my redneck cable. I want to get one news source, so to speak. This 24-hour news, and they are left leaning. I think it's NewsNet or some kind of thing like that.
Uh-huh.
I had it on just for some noise yesterday when I was cleaning the house, and it got my attention. They didn't spend about 30 seconds on it, but they said it appears paper ballots are in order in Georgia because of the breach in Coffee County on that voting machine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Really? You got to be kidding me. I mean, y'all say, it's that blew my mind to hear them say that. But we're wondering why they're doing it. I mean, here, look at the shoot herding.
There's a lot. Of course, I don't know if you were listening. I talked to Kathy. She was. You actually, you probably don't remember it, but she spoke at my house that when we had the gathering that you cooked at. You remember?
I had a little bit going on that day. But
yeah, you were manning the grill, but she did speak on Friday night, and I talked to her. And of course, she can't say much about it. She's under investigation, and she told me a few things off the record, which I'm obviously not at liberty to discuss. But
understood, yeah.
That situation, when I read the article, okay, and then I hear things from Kathy, and I read the article. It's I've been saying, and you've heard me say it repeatedly. That if one side wins, it's because the other side cheated. That's what we're going to hear. And then over there, and I'll be darned if Saturday I'm sitting there looking at an article Saturday that showed that, and I can't remember the names, but there was a lady in Texas that won. She was of Hispanic descent, but she won the Republican seat in that thing. And then the one that she beat, that's what she was saying, that she cheated. She just flat out said she cheated. They stole the election, and that's where we're at. So I've started asking people to ask others, Republicans and Democrats who are running for office. I don't care what the office is. Ask them, look, do you believe the election is secure? And are you willing to say today that no matter what the outcome is, you're willing to accept it? And I've asked about, I think it's either 11 or 12. I think it's 12 now. They won't answer it. And I don't, it don't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. They're not going to answer it, because if they answer it, it takes away the strategy of blaming a stolen election should they lose.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
So I believe this. This is what I wonder. I don't even want to get into it. I'd rather let you talk. Hell, I don't want to. I don't even want to get into it. I just don't, man. I've got a bad attitude about it.
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to put you in a bad mood. Let's go back to talking about deer hunting. You get pics on the camera?
I got a bunch of pics on my camera. I sure do. There's plenty of deer to shoot at. I can promise you that.
I'm glad to hear it, sir. I would have had some cameras up right now, but me and a buddy of mine went to Agri Supply here a few weeks ago, and they had cameras on sale, and the man didn't even tell me about it until after we left.
Yeah, well, he probably assumed that you could take care of yourself and you didn't need any hand holding. That's probably what he thought, but maybe he was wrong.
That's true. But I mean, dang it, man. Yeah, that's a true story. But that thing is, I ain't been able to get back to Agri Supply since then.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still on sale or not, but you can go by there and look or call or what. I don't know what to tell you on that. I ain't been back by there neither. So
we're gonna try again Saturday. We did have. I don't know if Cornbread is listening or not. My buddy Jamin Withington had a birthday this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch showed up, dude. I don't know if y'all seen pictures when I put it on the grill. We had one of them big old doggone super cookers that they have out there at Grassy Pond. That son of a gun was so slam full of meat that we had to stack it. I'm talking about.
I
we
saw
had a
some of the
grill
pictures there.
Yeah, if y'all wasn't there, y'all missed out. And my boy's a cook. I mean, he's I like to cook. I just don't get real technical with stuff. I like to keep it simple. But Cornbread showed up. He had a doggone pot, looked like the old witch's pot. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Over the fireplace back in Laura Ingalls day. He took that son of a gun and we got the fire started and he up under it and he took 4 sticks of butter and just dumped it in there and got them melted out and spread them around a little bit. And he went to putting peppers and onions and that kind of thing, and then and like stir frying it. And then he went adding meat. I mean, he put pork and chicken and the shrimp and something else. Man, they was. I don't know what all he put in it, but it was like a big old giant stir fry. And by the time he got done, he was just grabbing stuff out of the toolbox. He had a whole trailer full of shit that he's putting in that pot.
Huh. Yeah.
it was crazy, but man, some of the best stuff I ever put in my mouth.
I bet it sounds good.
We cooked a daggone pot of rice and put it over that. Yeah, awesome. And I don't even think he knows the recipe, but it was jam up jelly tight. The only liquid that he put in there was chicken broth.
Huh.
It was, yeah. You have to get with him and find out what that stuff was and that kind of thing. But man, it was a sight to behold. A lot of fun out there with my buddy Cornbread. I mean, I enjoyed it helping out with him. But yeah, y'all should have been there. Is all I got to say about that.
Well, it just, I think you've just made half the audience mad describing this meal and that they weren't there. So you got everybody in a bad mood now.
Hey, I'm southbound. Come catch me.
I hear you. That's right. All right, my brother. Well, I appreciate the call this morning.
Yes, sir. We gone. See you. Bye.
All right. See you, man. 229-469-1417. Whatever's on your mind, that's what we'll talk about if you've got something on your mind. One of our listeners, not going to call his name, but he says, I've been trying to match wits with the beaver since my honeymoon. I'll leave that there. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Good morning, sir.
What's up, Big B?
I'm just going to add my expert opinion on what was being cooked there that Glenn was talking about.
Yeah.
If the rice had been cooked with the meat, that's called jambalaya.
I hear you.
That's how we do it. But another thing I want to do, comment quickly. You was talking about the war in Ukraine. The tides is turning a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess that our billions of dollars that we're sending is helping, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. That's right.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's crazy. It is total insanity what's going on in this world.
I'll tell you something I have noticed. Now it's been a slight thing, but it is gaining a little steam. I have had a lot of we do have a good many Democrats and left leaners that listen to this show. I've started seeing more and more of them comment and complain about the federal spending, and it's wrapped. And you think about it, it's very, very logical. Okay. The latest problem that liberals have is in where's the all the flooding at? Is it Mississippi where all the flooding is, or Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, north of Mississippi right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So all the flooding there, they need water. All the water's tainted. You got Las Vegas in a major water predicament right now. Many other places, California. You're starting to see Democrats. When I say Democrats, I'm talking about voters and regular people. I'm not talking about politicians. You're starting to see them say, why are we sending billions of dollars a month to Ukraine, and yet we can't even send a couple of trucks of fresh water down to Mississippi? Right. People are starting to complain about not the fact that we're spending too much money, but they're starting to complain about where it's being spent. And I think that's a step in the right direction, ever so small, but I'll take it.
Well, and the reason they're fussing is because it's not being funneled towards them. That's the whole deal is.
Yeah.
But getting with Jackson, Mississippi, the reason they've got a water issue is because they've had a problem for a very long time, understand, with the water system, just like what happened up in Dearborn, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
You got contaminated water that the city politicians just kicked the can down the road for years and patched it, and then took money or took this and spent it elsewhere. You know?
Let me ask you this: talking about kicking the can down the road, what we've endured a few government shutdowns in our lifetime. I think we've endured 2 or 3 since I've been broadcasting on air for over the past 6 years. When we've had a government shutdown, I know it ain't affected you, but do you know anybody that it has affected? When we had a government shutdown, do you know anybody that it affected?
Yeah, I know people that work for the government. They sent them home, but they paid them. Paid them,
that's what I'm saying. Did it affect their paychecks? That's what I'm specifically talking about.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, see, I don't either. I that I can recall, and I'm sure maybe somebody somewhere has been affected by it, but the military still gets paid. Everybody still gets paid. I mean, there might have been a disruption, but as far as I know, I mean, everybody got paid, and I'm not really sure what kind of disruption it has caused. So right now there's this looming argument or debate or problem coming up on the Democrat side between Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, the progressive wing of the House, and Joe Manchin. Manchin agreed to sign off on this Inflation Reduction Act in exchange for some consideration for a natural gas pipeline coming to West Virginia and Virginia. It's supposed to help a lot of people. Okay. And now Pelosi's under heat from the progressive left. About 75 of them signed some sort of edict that said, hey, if it's included, we ain't voting for it. And that's going to cause a government shutdown. So that's what you got brewing, an internal squabble on the left right here, less than 60 days from the midterm election. So that's not a good look and not a good time for the Democrats. And they're going to try to avoid a government shutdown. Because that's, even though it don't affect anybody really that we can tell, it's not going to have it's not a good look for the Democrats because they're the ones currently in control. So this could be something big brewing that could sway some voters in the general election. When I say sway them, they're not going to sway them from one side to the other, but it might make them stay home or might make them go vote. You know what I mean?
Right. But and that's just it. What we got to do is we got to pay attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what happens. There's so much stuff that goes on that the media influences, and like you said before, guides us down a certain chute. No matter which chute you're looking at, there's 2 chutes, and it's how they want to push you. So,
yeah, we'll see.
But no, as far as knowing anybody that's been affected by a government shutdown in the past, no, because everybody I know that works for the federal government or even state government, when them things happen and they have to quote unquote take, they call it a furlough. And they wind up getting a back paycheck. They're still going to get they got a guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah.
That me and you are footing.
Yeah. I guess at worst, they probably went without the check for a few weeks, but then they got the back pay maybe. But I don't know nobody that even happened to. So I don't know. Interesting.
Well, I'm gonna do one other thing real quick while I got you on the horn. I do need to discuss something with you, and I don't mind discussing over the air. I was going to record what I've done this weekend and start my video, but my phone would not do what it needed to do. I had a mount and all that. It just would not record long enough. I'm going to have to invest in a sure enough camera because I want to share this with you. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm going to send it to your phone. I done barbecue shrimp and grits over the weekend for my wife and the girl.
I briefly saw where you cooked barbecued shrimp and grits. I did not, for whatever reason, I didn't read the details of it. But I did see where you did that. Sounded good to me.
Yeah, and like I said, I was going to video it, but my phone for some reason it would only record for just a little bit and then quit and knock off. And I'm like, that thing, what the heck's going on? So,
That's weird.
but anyway,
I cannot help you with your
will.
electronic challenges, but you know that.
Oh, I know. Well, I got sausage fingers too, so ain't no telling what I'll be hitting on a keypad. So, well, look here, for those that's listening, those out in it, it's foggy this morning. Y'all be careful, pay attention, stay off the phone.
Yeah.
Don't be doing what I do. Do as I say.
Tenfold, brother.
Sounds like a daddy, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, see you, man.
See you, buddy.
All right, bye-bye. 229-469-1417. Mary Palmer Williams says, well, some of us were deemed essential and had to work during the shutdown and no guarantee of pay. We couldn't protest, but not showing up, or we would have been AWOL. Yeah, I know what you used to do, Mary, there, and my cousin, as you well know, was in the same situation. So it does affect people. I mean, I guess there's no doubt about it, but I don't know. It's just it's interesting to see the fight over there. What's going to happen? Because Chuck Schumer, I mean, what happens in this right here? Is it just create a double cross and you just remember it and you try to pay them back one day? But I mean, Chuck Schumer, he shook hands and made a deal with Joe Manchin, and now I'm assuming he had to get Nancy Pelosi involved in that deal. So I'm assuming that Schumer and Pelosi gave Manchin the assurances that his pet project would go through if you vote our way. And now the progressive left, the radical left of the Democrat Party is going to say, hey, look, ain't nobody asked us about it. We made this deal, so we ain't doing this. And they've got the numbers to stop things in their tracks, because all the Republicans are voting no. You already know that. So you put 75 no's from the D's with the R's, and you ain't passing shit. I'm going to take a quick break and go refill the old coffee cup. Y'all stand by. We'll be right back after a brief break.
Well, 1 hour is gone. If you made it this far, you are an official freedom fighter. Don't forget to visit freedomnetworks.com. Click on featured advertisers and support these businesses. They can advertise anywhere. They choose this show as a way to support the effort of preserving and defending freedom. Now, back to the show with Steve.
229-469-1417. That's the Valdosta Transmission phone line number. Told you it'd be a short break. It don't take long to walk in there and refill your coffee. Just don't. All right. What's on your mind? Let's take a look at some of the other articles here. I'm just not going to leave. New book reveals Trump vowed to stay in the White House. Now, that's something you can read. The closer we get to the 2024 elections, the more confused I am about making a prediction of whether or not Donald Trump runs for president in 2024. Part of me says he won't. Part of me says he will. he has said that he's going to wait until after the 2022 midterm to make the announcement. Now, possibly he's doing that because he knows that if he says he's going to run, that gives the left ammunition to get their voters to the polls. Because the easy pitch then would be, hey, he's running, and our only firewall, if he gets elected president, is the Congress, is in the Senate. We need you to go vote, 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 vote. So it gins them up. It creates a rallying cry. So part of me says he might run, and then part of me says, with all this going on, his age, all these fights and battles, I just don't see him doing it. I don't know. It's a toss-up to me. It's a complete guess. So what do you think? You think he's going to run? Yes or no, and why? Put it in the comments, or you can call and talk about it. That's something we can discuss if you want to. You can still read about, you can find any article you want on the Royals over there. I just refuse to really discuss it in any great detail. I just don't, it's just not my thing. I've never really I just haven't cared to discuss it. But let's go to well, they've hung up there. I wasn't me this time. Caller, feel free to call back 229-469-1417. If you got a comment on whether or not Trump may or may not run, or you got something completely different on your mind, that's fine too. The show is about whatever it is that you would like to talk about. So, do you think he runs again? That's the question of the day. Bobby May says he knows exactly what he's going to do. I do agree with that. I just don't know if he is or not. Richard Todd says, at the risk of fading major heat here shortly, I despise savory grits. I haven't had grits in decades, and the only way I'll eat them is with real butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and half and half. Richard, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. This is South Georgia. You're a South Georgia boy, and you're going to sit here and tell me you just throw this out there like this? We ain't even talking about that. Did you just attack grits like that? Man, what the hell's the matter with you? Grits, salt, pepper, cheese, done. Sacrilege, Sherry Powell says. Absolutely, Jim Parker says. Water Jug, why would you ruin a plate of grits with the entire dessert spice rack? That's what I'm talking about, Water Jug. God, man, just grits, a little butter, a little salt, pepper. That's it. That's it. Mary said, Richard, that's called oatmeal. That's what I was thinking, actually. Trump is going to run, Charles says, and do not believe it is out of love of country. I believe it's a need for revenge and to bring hell down on Washington, D.C. He's waiting to see if he can have a Republican House and Senate. That's good. That's possibly. Danny Spell says oatmeal. That's right. I do not care if he runs or not. It's football season. That's kind of the way slowly I'm getting to. I do care more about what's going on with the country than football, but but not by much, not by as much as I used to, Kevin. I do not care if he runs. Okay, wait. James William Holt, thank you. Just but some malt, a meal, cream of wheat or oatmeal. But what are y'all talking? Y'all are trying to choose between oatmeal and grits. I mean, that's fine. I like them both. I'm just saying Richard's attack on grits, unwarranted, uncalled for, shocking, and unacceptable. Charles says instant grits ain't grits either. I tend to agree with Charles, but I will eat the instant ones. Charles Clark says, Richard Todd, do you have your wife take a pic of you putting a grit in your mouth like Joe Pesci did in My Cousin Vinny? That's funny right there, boy. If you hadn't seen the movie, you don't know what I'm talking about. Food abuse. That's right, Bobby. Food abuse. RT can make an allowance for your regional raising. Shrimp and grits starter kit. Yeah, shrimp and grits. Anything with grits is good, honestly. I like to chunk up my sausage, my bacon. I mean, whatever. Charles Shepard says he likes his grits with Grey Poupon. What in God's name is that all about? Cheese grits, I'm down with that, Randy Dalton. Fish fries, hush puppies, cheese grits, all goes together. All a serving of grits needs is a salty, runny egg. Oh, water jug had to go and screw it up. I was with you there for a minute. No runny eggs for this boy. 229-469-1417. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's up?
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I think what makes it even more unique is the fact that eating grits that way, I'm half Okie too. So
now you are, let's just make sure we understand this. This is Richard. He's currently living in the panhandle of Florida, but your roots are in California, correct?
that is absolutely correct. Yes.
Which would explain some of this insanity when it comes to grits. I get that, but man, when you throw all them ingredients in your grits, why bother? Just go straight to the oatmeal.
Well, in full disclosure, I did forget one ingredient. I also add real vanilla extract.
So let me get this straight. I'm just going to assume something. You don't actually ever prepare grits purposefully in your home, do you?
I haven't in decades.
Okay, I got it. That makes sense. So what you're saying is when you find yourself in front of a plate of grits or a bowl of grits at somebody else's home or at a restaurant, you then order every spice and sweet addition that you can think of that the restaurant or the person may have in their cabinet to put in the grits so that you can eat it. Is that about the size of it?
Actually, no. My first job was at 10 years old washing dishes in a family restaurant.
Okay.
And I've worked hospitality several times through my life. So having that experience, I would not put restaurant staff through that, especially south of the Mason-Dixon line. That's just ridiculous.
Okay. Well,
but I do make grits, but I do them for She Who Must Be Obeyed because she's a Florida farm girl.
I hear you.
So
she's a good.
I do know how to make a decent old-fashioned bowl of grits very well.
Good deal.
But I just don't make them for me. I make them for
okay. I see what's going on here, and thank God you do have a level of sanity in your home in your wife. She sounds like a wonderful woman, and but I do get it now. If she cooks the grits, you're not going to complain about it. That would be a bad move as the spouse. You just don't ever do that. You just do the best you can with what you got. So I get it. I feel a little better. I see what's going on here.
I may be a little strange, unorthodox, and bizarre, but I'm not a raging lunatic.
You ain't stupid. That's right.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, hey, how was the weather over the weekend down in the Panhandle there?
It promising. It had a whisper of fall.
Yeah.
It was cool, not quite as humid, and just a little bit of rain here and there. So it was a nice reprieve, Steve. Tenfold.
Richard, I appreciate it. And hey, just keep on keeping on, man, and do the best you can with them grits. I'm sure they're wonderful. Maybe one day I can enjoy a bowl of grits while you enjoy doctoring up your grits to make them more palatable.
Well, I believe my saving grace would be I do make a mean deep fried turkey.
Deep fried turkey. Okay. Well, I'm down for that. I can eat it. I don't prefer turkey, but I will eat turkey. I do like turkey at Thanksgiving and things like that. So I would be down for trying the turkey.
Have you never had deep fried turkey?
I have many times, and it's very good. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All
All
right.
right, brother. Well, I appreciate you. I'm glad you had a nice sabbatical this weekend. And on behalf of everybody, thank you so much for what you do, brother.
Appreciate it, Richard. Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
All
Have
right,
a
man.
good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I do feel the need to get something straight here. I did not have a vacation. I did not work. When I just went and ate breakfast with my grandson, and I was digging post holes, toting 80-pound sacks of concrete, and stretching wire on Friday. So I had plenty to do, and so I was not off. I just went and ate breakfast there. So just Bobby Bay says you never had deep fried turkey. You're missing it, brother. That's a good thing, man. If you like fried chicken, you like fried turkey, that's for sure. What else here? My favorite is cheese grits. I like cheese grits. Fried green tomatoes, cheese grits with some South Georgia lynx sausage, homemade biscuits, real butter, salt, pepper, and 2 Overlight. Nah, ain't Overlight, man. What the hell is up with all that? That Overlight running nasty. I mean, why would y'all eat that? It's not even safe if you want to know the truth. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Food Line. What's on your mind?
Yeah, good morning, Steve. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, man. What you up to?
Driving to work.
I hear you.
Hey, that last caller, that's Richard.
Richard Todd from down in the Panhandle of Florida. Yes, he's originally from California.
I'd like to introduce him to something we used to eat in Maryland. I've told you I'm from Maryland, right?
I've heard that. And if you're going to say introduce him to
Cream
Pine
of
Horse,
wheat.
cream of wheat, yeah,
Put the sweet junk in.
Yeah, that's something. I think Charles Clark wrote on here when he first saw cream of wheat in the Navy. When they put it in front of him, he says, "What the hell's the matter with these grits?"
That's funny. I worked at a hospital. I shouldn't say its name, Colquitt Regional Medical Center, back in the late 90s.
That's right.
And they had supply line difficulties even back over 20 years ago. And they didn't have grits one morning. And that cafeteria served cream of wheat to these Southerners, or those Southerners over there.
Ugh.
And I'm telling you, they about had a riot on their hands.
I bet, man. That's a wrong move down here in this neck of the woods, man. What's wrong with these grits?
Man, there was bowls piled up of that stuff not eaten. Everybody was bitching and raising hell about it. Hell, I ate it up. I knew how to put sugar on it and put her on down. That's a staple up in the Mid-Atlantic.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I don't think I've ever in my life tried cream of wheat. I don't think I've ever.
Well, it's definitely the base of it. It's just, I got to say, cream of wheat and grits, to me, they don't really have a distinctive, strong flavor profile. But what they do have, cream of wheat definitely lends itself better to sweet and grits to savory. And we'll just leave it there.
I agree with that. Water Jug says he hates sweet grits. It used to piss him off when the syrup from his pancakes even touched his grits. I'm with him on that, man. The grits ain't got nothing to do with sweet. Salt, pepper, grits, butter, that's it. That's all you want. And,
I'd like to introduce you to something else, too, that goes good with that Pine Horse you love so much, and that's hominy grits, the lumpy kind of grits. I
am not going to even entertain any Pine Horse commentary ever again on this show. Every time I hear the word, I feel the greasiness on my tongue that cannot be wiped off.
Yeah, I should have got that to you right out of the grease, but it was kind of impossible. Run it to Paydale. Sorry.
That's true.
Ruined the whole dining experience.
Yeah, Water Jug brings up a whole nother issue too. Are you one of those kind that just can mix all the food together and eat it? Like, if your peas get over in your taters and your rice and all, you just scarf it all down, or you got to keep it separated? Because I think it should be a law that the food shouldn't touch each other. That's just me. And I also eat one thing at a time too.
Yeah, that's funny. You should mention it. I agree with you on dinner foods, like the vegetables. I like them separate. But I do love to have a plate of hominy or a big plate of grits and dump the eggs and the meat, all of it together, and just basically chop it into pureed looking slop and pile it up on toast and eat it that way. So,
well, I could see that on breakfast. Breakfast is a little bit of a different animal when it comes to the meals, compared to, dinner and lunch. So I don't have a problem mixing your breakfast items up, as long as you keep the sweets in one spot and the savory in the other spot. But the lunch and the dinner, mixing of the vegetables and you know, I just don't get that. You got to separate. That's why when I go to a buffet, I wear myself out, because you can only put so much on a plate, right? And you don't want to touch. You don't want your cream corn mixing with your black eyed peas. That's stupid. So you have to get them on almost on separate plates. So I end up using about 15 or 16 plates, making multiple trips to the bar. It wears me out.
You sure that ain't just filling them up, Steve?
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
You sure there's a strategy there? Or you just going back to eat that much?
Man, I don't know. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
I tell you, I'll put a provision on that. I do like my cream corn mixing with my butter peas and field peas, all the different type of peas that I was introduced to when I moved south.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that for some reason. And I also like, I don't mind it, I'll say, I don't make a conscious effort to do it when my dressing and gravy get mixed on Turkey Day. Or gravy and mashed potatoes and dressing. I can live with that. But I don't want the green beans in there with it.
Well, I don't know. I've just been called a snowflake and accused of being a snowflake if I'm scared of runny yolk. I'm not scared of it. It's just nasty.
Well,
not
make
safe.
That comment, crack 2 raw eggs in a glass and drink it down like Rocky. Go for it.
I've done that. I think it was 5 eggs for Rocky.
That is a fast track to salmonella, my friend.
Yep, that's why they have on the menu at a restaurant, undercooked foods may cause a problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not lying.
I'm telling you, I ain't seen many cases of food poisoning. The ones I've seen, though, you end up with a nose hose down in your stomach, pumping that crap out. Ugh.
I've been there.
Nasty.
I've been there. I had it a long time ago in my 20s, and it was from some bad chicken, and at a local grocery store,
really
which is out of business. But
kill you.
I had to have my stomach pumped. I was in the hospital for 3 days. It was an ordeal.
Well, as I turn the corner and get out of here, let me ask you: did you read the Stacey Abrams interview in the VD Times this weekend?
Nope, I have not seen it.
Well, I did read it, and she has an interesting plan with Medicaid. Steve, you should get up to speed on that. Somebody with an economy background or economics background like you will explain it better to me. It seems that expanding Medicaid is going to create 66,000 jobs.
Well, sure. I guarantee it will. You got to have bureaucracy to expand a bureaucratic program. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm sure to create a lot of positions. So, you know, it begs the question without seeing her commentary, you know, if you expand it to that magnitude, how much help is it getting to everybody as opposed to just creating those jobs? You know what I mean?
I can't believe I don't believe they're going to create a bureaucracy, 66,000 more people in one state just to expand benefits, a system that's already in place. I ain't buying it.
Yeah, I can't see the 66,000 jobs neither.
Well, I tried to follow it up to her website, and there was no granularity. There was no real.
Her website sucks. I'm just going to go ahead and tell everybody her website sucks. It's just there's no information. There's no information on that website.
I was able to link over to the Augusta Chronicle, which was supposed to have a little more detail, and that had no detail. It cited 2 studies, one of them from a couple of institutes I'd never heard of. So I'm going to dig down deeper into that. But there's certainly no spreadsheet, no bar graphs, no detailed explanation how that's going to work. They call it the ripple effect. There's going to be a rippling effect.
Yeah, she's not going to win.
Good.
She's not, but she's just not going to win. Yeah. If she does, if she does, we ought to just pack it up and go to the house because this ball game's over if she wins. I mean, we're.
You know, she also said something too that bothers me. That I wish Kemp would take her to task on it, especially if it isn't true. And I don't think it's true in the way it was stated. But she says that Kemp has refused to do things like expand Medicaid and spend on social programs because he is using the reserve funds, the surplus funds, to give to his friends, quote unquote.
That's
to his friends.
Yeah. See, she's just telling. she knows that if she just says that, it's an outlandish lie. He's clearly said he's going to take the $450 billion and give it back to the citizens of the state, not his friends. He's going to give everybody 250 or 500 or 400. I don't know the amount. I don't think he's done it yet, but that's what he's going to do. He says he's going to do, but he ain't giving it to his friends. You can't do that. You can't. Does anybody out there think, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, you can't just give that money to your buddy. You can't. Now you can take that money and offer some sort of incentive to give your buddy to create a factory that has jobs. You can get around it. But as far as a direct payment to your friend, like if I was the governor and I had some money and I'm saying, you know, I like old Troy, I think I'll give him $5,000. Troy, here's your check for $5,000. You can't do that. You cannot do that. I don't care if you're Republican
and
or
that's
Democrat.
the way she's characterizing it.
Exactly.
That's called out. I'm sure he does. He has, like every politician, kickback to his alliances, corporate alliances, people that support him in big ways.
Yeah.
They get incentives. I get it, and probably shouldn't come out of the surplus. But yeah, if my hands were clean, I'd call her out on that.
Well, he probably will. There's two debates. I think the first one comes up around the middle of October, and then there's one at the end of October. But we'll see what those debates look like. I think Kemp's going to have a huge advantage in the debate because he has a record to run on, and there's just nothing that she can shoot holes in. Nothing. He did everything he said he'd do. And if she says, if she tries to attack him on constitutional carry and says, Governor Kemp, you passed constitutional carry, and he's going to simply say, well, of course I did. I campaigned on constitutional carry. The majority of people in Georgia that voted wanted constitutional carry. Therefore, they elected me, and I came through on constitutional carry. Of course I did. And then she's going to say, well, you also came up with a heartbeat bill. Well, of course I did. Why wouldn't I? It's what I campaigned on. The majority of the people voted for me. They elected me to pass the heartbeat bill, and I did it. Next question. What are you talking about, Ms. Abrams? It's going to be the easiest debate for Kemp that he's ever had. The only other thing he'll have to do is tear down. Her number one thing is expansion of Medicaid. So when she gets up there and says, I'm going to expand Medicaid to more Georgians access to it. We're going to do that in the same time, we're going to create 66,000 new jobs in order to get it done. Mr. Kemp, what do you got to say about that? 66,000 jobs. It's going to take 66,000 people to expand Medicaid in a state that has 159 counties. And Ms. Abrams, am I hearing you correctly? You're about to place an average of 415 people per county to expand your Medicaid? I'm sorry, man, but that sounds like complete bullshit. That's what I'd say.
Plans on putting 500,000 more Georgians on the program. Yeah. And then she says, she characterizes it, that's also going to increase their income, which let me decode that. If you're working at a lower paying job, but still have health care insurance, she wants to get those folks that do have lower incomes and are paying for their health care insurance off of that and on to the federally subsidized program, Medicaid. And she characterizes that as increasing their income, which it will. I'd like to kiss my $300 a month off I pay on insurance just for single coverage. Believe you me.
But well, we'll see what happens. I just don't think. I just honestly, the more I analyze it, the more I hear things, and now I'm hearing from you that she can create 66,000 jobs in 159 counties to expand Medicaid to ever how many people. And you do the math, and that's an average of 415 bureaucrats per county. I mean, what in the hell, man? That don't add up, dude. There's no way she can win. I mean, seriously. I mean, please tell me that she has no chance.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand the demographics, or I can understand the demographics, but the political thinking of Atlanta and the outlying areas. You just like
No,
most metropolitan.
well, where you're going
areas,
wrong,
they're more liberal.
where
So
you're
she's
going
got
wrong is you're
she's got
trying to
she's got
analyze
some
the
votes
thinking.
consolidated there.
You're trying to analyze the thinking of a voter base. There's no thinking of the voter base, and she knows that. That's why she makes a ridiculous statement that she makes, and everybody else. When she says, Kemp's going to take that $450 billion surplus, he's going to give it to his friends. Those idiots in Fulton County and DeKalb County and all them 10 core counties around Atlanta, they hear that, they take it to the bank as being absolutely true.
Yeah. The one thing she did come out with that I thought was a little eye raising, she did have some numbers on his plan to give the money back to Georgia citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And according to her, if you were up in the 6 digits, you're going to get 10 grand back. Working slobs like me under $100,000, you're going to get a few hundred back. And if you're under $30,000, you get $1,280 back or something. Something ridiculously low. So she's published the numbers. So, I hope if he's got a brain in his head, he's looking at those numbers and retooling it, or at least getting ready to explain if there's any truth to those numbers.
It don't matter.
They don't look
it
good.
don't matter if it's true or false. It don't matter.
It
I mean,
don't
she
matter
knows
to me
that.
because I'm not going to base my vote on that. But
Well,
some
there you
people
go.
it may.
You just made my point. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is if you've got an R or a D by your name. That's what matters. It don't matter who's telling the truth because they all lying. It doesn't matter. What matters is what letter you got by your name and motivating someone to go vote for that letter. And the last election, people were ultra motivated to go vote for the D. Okay. So the question is there a motivator for you to go pull D now? And I say there's not. I think the motivation is on the R side. The votes are the election's won by the independent vote. That's what I believe. I think the statistics bear that out.
I think you're right.
So we'll see.
And as we said before, I think that I couldn't think of that name, the swing voter, the independent voter.
That's right. The swing vote.
That demographic of voter is becoming thinner and thinner. But as the majority of the population, as both sides become bigger, that pivotal voter has become much more important. Much more important.
I agree.
And I don't know what kind of surveys they're doing or what kind of research they are doing to find out who these people are. But anybody that wants to win a major election had better understand that demographic, because I think you're right. That's the key.
Yep. We'll see how it shakes out. Appreciate the call, Troy.
Have a good one, brother.
All right.
Thanks
see you,
for your
man.
help last week with the dentist.
No problem. Glad to help.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good deal. Bye.
229-469-1417. 3 things to watch as the House returns to Washington, according to CNN. A resolution to honor the Queen. Government funding sprint. Let's go to the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Steve. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Richard. What's going on?
Well, we've had a rough week, man. Just ain't nothing going right. I tell you, man, it's just been a mess, man. I've been blocked twice by Larry, and I don't know if he ever unblocked me or not, because I got locked out of my Richard Marks Facebook account, and I can't get in it. Save my life.
You got locked out of your account, or did Facebook lock you out of your account?
Well, what happened was I deleted the cookies on my computer because I was having trouble with another website that I do business on.
And then you had to log back in and you couldn't remember your password?
Well, when you log in, you have to enter in a mobile number associated with the account, and it's putting up my 2 fake accounts. I've got 2 fake accounts I use in case, Larry blocks me or something. I can still be on there seeing what's going on. I can't comment, of course, that would give me away, but it keeps putting up my fake accounts. It doesn't put up the Richard Marks account for me to select that account. I'm thinking what happened was
you deploying the John Ford.
In.
You deploying the John Ford shuck and jive method of operation.
Yeah, maybe I need to talk to John Ford about this problem. Maybe he can help me figure it out. But I think it thinks I'm still logged in, and because it uses those cookies to.
I'll tell you. I can't tell you how to help you with your challenges there. I will give you one piece of advice, though. If you would come out of the dark and operate honestly, it'll go a hell of a lot smoother.
Well, like I said, I think it thinks I'm still logged in. What I should have done was I should have went into Facebook, into the Richard Marks account, and logged out, and then
You
deleted
got
those
anything? I
cookies.
don't
Then when
care about
went,
all
you
that.
know,
Nobody cares about all that. You got any comments about Stacey Abrams? I know that's what you called for, Stacey Abrams and expansion of
Well, I did hear
Medicaid,
that, and there's something that you're missing there. You're saying
$66,000
that it's going to
jobs or whatever.
require 65 additional bureaucratic jobs to
No.
expand Medicaid. What are you talking about?
Nope. She said, according to T-Rex, I've not read the article. She said that it would create 66,000 more jobs. Now, if he misread it or something, may be the case, but going by what he said, she said, as I understood it, again, this is second or third hand information, is that she was going to create that this would create 66,000 new jobs to implement the expansion of her Medicaid plan.
Well, it's to what it is. It's the 60,000 jobs are in healthcare, the healthcare sector, to handle all those additional patients who are going to be coming in getting healthcare.
Right. How many additional
more people working?
How many additional patients will it serve? Because she said that in the article, according to him.
I think 500,000 something, somewhere around in that neighborhood.
500,000 divided by 159. So it's going to add an additional 3,144 per county. That's on average. Okay. I get that Eccles County is not going to have as many as Fulton County, but on average, it's going to serve 3,100 more patients, and we need 415 more people to serve 3,100 more patients per county. That sounds like horse shit to me.
Well, you got to have,
we got that many now
in healthcare. I don't do the math or statistics on it. I'm going.
Well, it's pretty easy. There's not 415 employees at the hospital in Cook County, so that math don't add up.
Well, how many new jobs do you think it'll add?
I have no earthly idea.
What
I mean, 500 more,
60,000?
500,000 more. I'm telling you what he said. That she said it would add 66,000 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe I was wrong in saying it was 66,000 bureaucratic jobs. Maybe it's 66,000 bureaucrats, nurses, LPMs, X-ray technicians. I get all that, but I don't think the numbers add up that you need 415 per county to serve 3,100 people. That just don't seem right to me, because if that was the case, currently Lowndes County serves 120,000. SGMC serves 120,000 in just Lowndes County. We all know it's a regional hospital, so it serves more counties than that. So it probably serves about 200,000 people, and they're currently doing that with what, 1,000, 1,200 employees. So why would you need 415 additional employees to service only 3,000 more people? That math don't add up, man, which it never does with a Democrat. That's a whole nother story.
I don't know. You're talking about major metropolitan areas like Atlanta, and you're talking about a lot of people.
Well, again, if you put it per capita, I just told you allow a certain amount for Eccles County, certain for Fulton, the math still ends up being 415 for every 3,000. Any way you slice it. So that's catastrophically top heavy. It's complete bullshit is what it is. I mean, let's just face it. But the fact she can just say it, the fact she can just say it is going to resonate with people that are a D. They don't care about the truth no more than an R does. See, an R don't care about the truth neither. They don't. This is where we're at.
Adding jobs into the healthcare. I mean, it's going to require more people to be hired in healthcare. Now, then maybe she's talking about other jobs in some other area too. I haven't heard her specifically talk about what these jobs will specifically be. Haven't read it or heard her talk about it. I've just heard that it will create jobs and all that, but it's going to give 500,000 people access to health care that don't have it now in the state of Georgia.
Larry just said to tell Karen that she's been unblocked for my show. He's talking to you.
What's that?
Larry said to tell Karen she's been unblocked for her show, for your show. He's talking to you. You've been unblocked for my show.
And he calls me Karen?
He says you're a Karen. That's what he's saying. I don't know.
You know what I call him? I said it wrong the other day. I call him Larry Van Men. That's my nickname for Larry. That was the I misspoke and called him Larry Chi-Men, which that was the good guy.
Who
Van
cares
Men
about
was
all
the bad
that?
guy.
On the 66,000 jobs or the expansion of Medicaid, you do agree that this comes with a cost, right? Costs money to expand Medicaid. She acknowledges that. You got to acknowledge it. Where's the money coming
Yeah, it costs
from?
money.
She's wanting to take it from the $450 billion surplus that we have currently in the state of Georgia. She wants to take our taxpayer money and give that to the expansion of Medicaid to serve what she says an additional 500,000 people. What are some of the challenges? I mean, I'm just trying to understand this, okay? Because you know me, I'm going to analyze it fairly. So my question is you have a qualifier, you have a qualification to be on Medicaid. In this expansion of Medicaid, does it expand? Because I can't see it on her website. Her website ain't worth a shit, okay? I mean, there's no information whatsoever on there about for somebody like me who's trying to find out how something works. I don't just buy a Republican or a Democrat telling me, okay? Who is going to be able to get Medicaid under her plan that can't get it currently?
People who are within a certain income range who right now don't qualify for it.
So she's going to drop the income range even further than it is now.
She'll raise it up, I believe, but she'll raise the.
She can't raise it because if she raises it, there'll be less people on Medicaid. So she's going to expand it. She's got to lower it.
Lower the income requirement?
Yeah, you'd have to, because if you raised it, less people will qualify for it. So you got to lower it, right?
No, you raise the income limit, and that allows more people to qualify. You raise it.
No, you're looking at it on the wrong side. Okay, we're saying the same thing. You're just looking at it on the wrong side or the opposite side. I should say the opposite side from where I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. You're looking at it that if you make $40,000 or more, and I'm looking at it if you don't make $40,000. That's the same thing. We're getting there the same way. So what she's going to do is she's going to change the income requirement. Let's go with that to lower the confusion level. So she's going to change the income level by how much?
I'm not sure. It will. Well, what it's going to do is going to take right. You see, right now there's 500 or so 100,000 people who don't qualify. It's going to. She'll make an adjustment to where those people who don't qualify for Medicaid now, but who can't afford any other insurance of any type, they will now qualify for the Medicaid system.
So it's based on not being able to afford regular insurance is what it all amounts to, right? So she's got to somehow look at the state average of what a individual or a married couple with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children, whatever. She's got to look at that average to see how much that costs and then try to come up with some formula, wave a magic wand and tell somebody, well, if you don't make this amount of money, you can't afford that. Where I'm sure there's people making that of money now that can't afford it. It's just depending on whatever bills they got in there. So it's arbitrary is what you're saying.
Well, it's going to make, if you're right now, if you don't qualify for Medicaid and suddenly she's elected and she's able to make it where you do qualify, naturally you're going to go apply for it. You're going to go get it.
Well, of course.
And it's being done in states. It's done in states all over the country. She's not going to do something unique. That is being done all over the United States right now.
Yeah, and if I'm not, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but now if I'm not wrong, the states that it's been done now, it has been done in now has had to raise taxes to pay for it, correct?
No, this money comes from the federal government, from the Obamacare system.
Well, then why is she saying that she's going to use the surplus to pay for it?
That surplus you're talking about is surplus from the bills that were passed, the CARES Act and all that stuff. There, a lot of that money was sent to Georgia that the state didn't use.
That's totally false right there, because Kemp is doling that money out for playgrounds in every county and places like that. The budget surplus, the money that the federal government gave during COVID has absolutely nothing to do with the budget. So forget that.
Georgia hasn't gotten any.
She is saying, this is her words, Richard. This is her words. She said that she would use the budget surplus to implement and pay for the Medicaid expansion. So if she's going to do that and she's successful, she's elected and she does that, then where is the money going to come from to sustain the program?
The money for Medicaid expansion in Georgia and every other state comes from the Obamacare system.
Again, you say that, but that is at odds with what she's telling us she's going to do. So somebody's lying. Either Stacey Abrams is lying or you're lying.
Well, you're misunderstanding what she's talking about.
I'm looking at the quote. I'm looking at the quote right now where she says she's going to use the budget surplus to aid in the expansion of Medicaid. I'm looking right at it, Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Well, I don't know what she means by aid in the expansion of Medicaid.
I'm taking her at a word. I'm taking her at a word. She's going to use
Obamacare.
Well, then she's lying, or you're lying, or misinformed. I don't think you're lying. I just think you're confused.
So far, since the Affordable Care Act went into effect, Georgia has not accepted those federal funds which have been available to the state of Georgia. They have not taken.
Maybe that's why she's going to use this money, because she can't use the other. I don't know. I'm just telling you what she's saying. Am I not to believe what she's telling me?
Well, I don't know what she's talking about.
She's talking about using the $450 billion surplus to aid in the expansion of Medicaid. That's what she said. That's the quote. I'm reading it verbatim. I'm looking at it.
What is Kemp going to do with that surplus?
He's giving it back to the taxpayers, which is what you should do.
The COVID relief money back to the taxpayers. I haven't heard about any other money coming back to the taxpayer.
He's giving the COVID money back to the taxpayer in the form of playgrounds and shit like that, which I'm totally against, by the way. But, I mean, he can't give federal money directly back to the citizens. But the tax money that came from Georgia that created the $450 billion surplus, he's doing the right thing by giving it back to the people they took it from. I don't know why anybody wouldn't be for that. But no, Stacey Abrams wants to keep it and spend it.
If he's done that, that's done.
He ain't done it yet.
Use something he's already given back to the people.
He hasn't done it yet.
The case, what you're saying is true.
He hasn't done it yet.
Aren't people already getting like $250 checks and
I have no idea.
$375 and stuff like that?
Don't know. I know he said that he was going to do it. Whether or not anybody's got the check yet, I do not know. I'm just telling you, his campaign promise is to give that money back. Her campaign promise is to keep that money they took from you and spend it.
Well, I mean, if he's going to give it back, there's no way she can stop that. I mean, if he's giving it back, if he's telling the truth, he's going to give it back. As a voter, do you think more people is going to vote for somebody that's going to keep your money, or are you going to vote for somebody that's going to give it back? That's the thing you got to. I don't know how she can say she's going to keep money that he's giving back to the taxpayer. That it must be different money she's referring to. I don't know what. I'd have to read up on what you're talking about.
There's only one $450 billion number being ponied around. So I don't know. Appreciate the call, brother. Have a good day. I got to go to a break. He keeps saying that, but see, that ain't what she's saying. You got to listen between the lines with these liberals. You got to it. Yeah, that's right. He's giving a bunch for school safety, playgrounds. I mean, he's unfortunately, I don't like it, but he's got to spend it or just send it back to the federal government. So here's the choice. Do you want him to send it back to the federal government, or do you want him to legally spend it on whatever he can spend it so it benefits the state of Georgia? Yeah, I'd love for him to send it back, but you know what'll happen then? It'll just be spent on somebody else's pet project. Let's take a quick break. I'll go refill my coffee pot. We'll have to hit the restroom this go around, but y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. You listen to Freedom with Steve Nichols.
Wide awake now? We're honored and humbled to share this time with you each and every day. Please consider liking, sharing, and spreading the word by telling others to tune in. Send them to freedomnetworks.com and they can choose their favorite way to enjoy the show. For now, back to Freedom with Steve Nichols. Go get them, Steve.
Back on Freedom with Steve Nichols, 229-469-1417. I'm looking at something right here real quick. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to see what our next meeting at Doughboys will be. Let's see, we do it on the first and third Mondays. So it'll be next Monday, the 19th. I want you to keep this in mind. Next Monday, the 19th at 7 p.m. at Doughboys in Adel. It's going to be one of the most important meetings that we've ever had on the show. I want everybody to show up because what we're going to talk about that night is the show. I am there. I've got to make a decision on exactly how I'm going to move forward with the show. So make sure that you come that night. That'll be the 19th, 7 p.m., Doughboys in Adel, and we're going to talk about where we're going and how we're moving forward with the format of my show specifically. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta transmission hotline. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to help clear everything up for you, man. His God said it, so you're just supposed to believe it's going to happen on faith.
Right.
Well, that explains how everything's going to happen. Stacey Abrams said it, so don't worry about the particulars. She doesn't have to give them to you. You just take it on faith, bro.
That's right. And I guess that's the way a lot of politicians operate these days. They've determined that the voting public don't want the details. They just believe or they don't believe. And it would be refreshing for someone to get up there and do a Glenn Beck grease board analysis of saying, look, this, if you elect me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this money. Here's how I'm going to pay for it. This is where it's going to go. This is how it's going to benefit people. But we don't need all them details no more as a voter. We just need to know what letters beside your name. That's it. That's all we need to know.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Unfortunately, we've pretty much proven them true.
That's exactly right.
Proven them correct.
Yeah. We've defined that insanity for decades.
Yep. Well, I was going to call you earlier and tell you that, I threw my back out this weekend, and I was going to say, the lesser host would have stayed home.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, okay, well, I should make some sort of really dorky, Florida football players being tougher than Georgia players. And I realized that might not work because football, as much as I love college football, that's not my sport of choice. My sport of choice is fought between warriors that put on armor, pick up a weapon, and go out and beat each other up after chasing after a little 1-pound piece of vulcanized rubber on ice at speeds of about 30 miles an hour, where we shrug off hits that would put the average football player on the DL list for life and literally kill soccer players.
Well,
but, nobody down in the South knows anything about hockey.
Well, that's cute. So, that's cute and everything. But as long as you're doing a sport where an ass whipping is the score is 3-1, I ain't paying no attention to that. I want to see somebody win 43-7. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about no 2-1 butt whipping. I can't get into that. I can't. Now,
I understand, but
if I go to it in person,
in the South, man.
Well, I mean, Tampa Bay's got a team, didn't they? They won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah, they're doing good, too.
Yeah,
they do good.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's some sports fans down in Florida, but of course, they're Yankees that moved to Florida, but that's all right.
But I took my boss when I was in Tallahassee going to school. I took my boss to an exhibition game there in Tallahassee, and he loved it. He's mostly into FSU football, but he looked at me and he goes, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Most everybody I know that's ever went to a live game has absolutely loved it. So
live, yes.
That's right. Yeah. So I would go. I mean, if you want to get us some Tampa Bay tickets, I'll go with you.
Don't dare me. I might actually do that with you, man, because I love the game. I love the game.
I'm in, brother.
But just figured I'd give you a call. I honestly, though, to get serious for a minute, I don't understand how anybody believes anything coming out of the media or any politician, DR or otherwise, these days.
Me neither.
I don't understand how in our right mind we believe anything coming out of their mouth.
I don't either. I don't. I'm so, man, we talk about this all the time, and I'm so I'm more confused now than I've ever been on what I should do here in 2022 on November the 8th. I got a lot of soul searching and a lot of thinking and a lot of long twisting conversations in my own mind with myself to try to figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to pull that handle on November 20th. November
You
the
better
8th.
not listen to my show today then, because I found some headlines out of the news that I'm going to be reading that's going to make it even harder for you to figure out now when you realize just that there really is no difference between the parties anymore.
Oh, I've done figured that out. I mean, that's beyond the scope. I mean, my struggle is the age old question that you and I ping pong back and forth when we first started talking to each other is, who do we vote for? Do we vote for the lesser of two evils? Do we reject the two candidates they're telling us we've got to vote for now? That's what I'm doing, because I have become so, I don't know if it's my age or what, or the fact I've got 3 grandchildren, my children, and I see all this move and this transgender crap. And I got reminded by Larry, as a matter of fact, a week or two ago, that the Democrats took God out of their platform.
Cheered it.
Yeah,
3 times.
That's right. And then now, and the Republican Party, they may have God in the platform, but man, I'd argue they don't have God in the party. That's just my opinion. But yep. I look at my children and I wonder, what do I do to do right by them, knowing that I'm 55, Joe, and I'm not going to be around here to fight the fight if it breaks out. Do I leave them with it? Do I shield them? Do I protect them? I'm telling you, man, I am struggling mightily this time around.
You and me both, brother.
Yeah.
You and me both.
One day I wake up and I say, this is what I'm going to do. And then some comment, maybe by you or by some stranger, maybe by a passing TV ad. And then that next day I totally revise what I'm going to do. And then the next day I'm back to where I was the 3 days before. I'm so screwed up right now, man. It's a horrible place to be in my mind right now. It really is.
Chaos and nihilism. That's something we've been talking about all 4 weeks I've been on the air now.
That's right.
So it's intentional.
It is. There's no doubt about that.
All right, brother. Well, we'll see you in a little bit, man. Y'all take care.
Have a good
Continue
show,
good
brother.
Work, bro.
We'll be tuning in.
All right, man.
All right, see you. Y'all make sure y'all stick around when I get out of here at 9:05 Eastern time, 8:05 Central. Joe Bakanovic, the road to Concord will be right here. Wherever you're listening at now, with the exception of Discord, you'll be able to get him. Go to Facebook Live, Freedom with Steve Nichols on Facebook Live. You can go to YouTube, Twitch. You'll get him there too. And soon, hopefully, our own app. I'm closer than ever on that. But that's why, again, September 19th at Doughboys. That's not tonight. Next Monday, 7 p.m., we're going to talk about where we're going with this show. And we're going to make some decisions that night. And we're going to go, and we're never going to look back. So, I want to give y'all the full vision, what we're up against, what we're considering, where we're trying to go, get y'all's input as listeners. I want to talk about your habits. How do you listen to the show? What do you want to talk about? What interests you? Is it local, state, federal? I mean, some of all of it. We're going to have a deep discussion, and I'm going to tell y'all the challenges I have. And I want everybody that has ever thought about this show and what we're trying to do to come help us pave the way. We are the founding fathers of the Freedom Networks team. That all of us, we are on the ground floor of what I feel is a movement, and I need to know what direction to move in. I've got to put it to bed. I got to pick a path, and I got to go, and I need your help. So please. Think enough of the show to show up September 19th, 7 p.m., Doughboys in Adel. 229-469-1417. I'm going to go over some of the scores from the weekend here. Let me get I was checking to see something there, and I can't find it, but I'm going to go back to the top. We're just going to go over the top 25 scores. Alabama squeaked by Texas in a thriller, 20-19. That game could have went the other way easily if it weren't for injuries to the quarterbacks of Texas. But hey, it's next man up. The depth of Alabama proved too tough. They won it in the last quarter at the end of the game, 20-19. Great game. Georgia 33-0 over Samford. Georgia in the new poll took over the number one spot, so they'll enter next weekend ranked number one as they have another snoozer of a game. Should be okay, but I wasn't. I mean, we won 33-0. That's right, but we didn't score but 3 points in the second half. So a little alarmed by that, but it's not hard to. It's hard to get up for someone that you should beat the snot out of. Ask Texas A&M. We'll get to that in a second. Ohio State 45-12 over Arkansas State. Michigan clobbered Hawaii 56-10. Clemson over Furman 35-12. Texas A&M lost. Number 6 ranked team lost to Appalachian State. App State, of course, in a barn burner with North Carolina the weekend before, and it was a tough loss for Texas A&M at home at College Station. Man, Oklahoma 33-3 over Kent State. Marshall beat Notre Dame 26-21. Kirk Herbstreit kept saying it on game day all morning. Man, don't underestimate Marshall. Don't underestimate them. This ain't gonna be no easy win. And it was a loss at home. BYU beat Baylor 26-20 without 2 of their top wide receivers. USC 41 over Stanford 28. Oklahoma State 34-17 over Arizona State. Kentucky beat Florida 26-16. Florida held scoreless in the second half in that game. Utah 73-7 over Southern Utah. Michigan State 52-0 over Akron. Miami close at the half. They were up 10-7 at the half. Scored 20 unanswered points in the second half to win 30-7. I think they moved up to number 12. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to look. Arkansas over South Carolina 44-30. Pretty good ball game there. Tennessee come from behind, beat Pittsburgh 34-27. I think they came from behind. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But anyway, that was a good game too. 55-3 in NC State over Charleston Southern. Washington State's upset Wisconsin. That score is 17-14. Then Ole Miss 59-3 over Central Arkansas. Let's go back to the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I looked up. I was reading about Stacey Abrams here. Basically, Kemp did do a rebate on surplus and all that. And what she's going to do is she's going to be increasing law enforcement pay, teacher pay, all kinds of things like that.
Oh, she's definitely trying to buy some votes. There's no doubt about that.
And well, he's not by saying he's going to give you a rebate if he's reelected.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, Republicans and Democrats, they buy votes. That's what they do. Don't make no mistake about it, man. His giving that money back is a good thing, but the reason he's giving that back is to get you to go vote for him. There's no doubt about that.
Do you know anybody, Steve, who's a nihilist?
I've never really thought about it.
I don't know of anyone in government who's ever claimed to be a nihilist or takes the position of a nihilist.
I don't think it's something anybody would embrace.
I don't know who he's talking about.
You don't know what a nihilist is?
I know what a nihilist is, but I don't know anybody who is one. I don't know anybody who's a nihilist.
Well, anybody. Rarely do you see anybody stand up and say and claim to say in politics that I'm a nihilist. I mean, you're not going to hear that. You rarely. Now you do sometimes see it, but you rarely. As a matter of fact, I can't think of anybody that's ran in a Senate or House rep saying, "Vote for me, I'm a communist. Vote for me, I'm a Marxist." Now you do hear them embrace socialism, which is a pathway to communism, obviously. But
a few of them are democratic socialists. Well, that's not a pathway. They're not headed to communism.
Oh yeah, they are. They don't agree with that. But
I mean, a communist is headed supposedly to communism, although none of the communists have ever even done that. So it's all that socialist communism stuff is very complicated. But
It
I
is
just
very
wondered if you
complicated,
knew-
right? But ain't nobody claiming to be outwardly claiming to be a communist or a Marxist. Vote for me. Same way with a nihilist. They're not doing it.
There are people out there who claim to be communists. They're just
But they're
nobody
not-
running.
That's what
Not
I'm
running for
saying. And
office.
you just asked me, do I know anybody, if I understood you correct, claiming to be a nihilist?
Yeah, and
I don't.
I don't know of anybody who
Do
is
you?
a
I don't know. I don't know
nihilist,
anybody
I
that
want to
claims
know.
to be a communist or a Marxist. I don't know anybody like that
I know a
personally.
lot of people who claim to be communists.
I
know a
bet
lot
you
even
do.
more
You're in the
people.
Communist Party. What the hell? That's not shocking
Well, I'm
news.
not in the Communist Party, but
You're
I
a
know people
Democrat.
who are. I know people who are, and I know what their positions are on things and all that. These are American communists. These aren't.
I mean, it's not
followed
shocking.
as
I mean, I don't
communists
even know what the
100
point of
years
this
ago.
conversation is. It's not shocking to me that you know communists. That makes perfect sense. Why are you saying that?
Well, yes, I know communists.
So why would
wouldn't
it
I know
make sense
communists?
for me to know a nihilist? That's stupid.
I just don't know anybody anywhere who's a nihilist. I don't know anybody in the government who's a nihilist, and
No, I
I
don't
don't
either.
know why Jimmy and Joe.
I
are
don't know.
always
Not.
calling
I don't know
people
nihilists, communists, fascists. I don't know none of them. But it's not shocking that you do. You are.
Have you ever heard of something called Anglo Israelism?
No, Richard, I haven't.
Anglo Israelism.
I don't
According
care. I
to-
don't care to know about it. I just don't care about that. So can
Well,
can
according
we
to
talk
the,
about something else?
Southern Poverty Law
Who's
Center
going to
and
win the election
Anti-Defamation League.
between Kemp and Abrams? What's your prediction? Who's going to win?
I think Kemp is going to win, unfortunately, but
I think he is too. Why do you think he's going to win?
what's that?
Why do you think he's going to win?
I just think that he's going to get. I just think he has more supporters in the state than Abrams does at this point. I just think.
You think he's done a good job? Now, I'm not saying you agree with his policy, but you think he's done a good job fulfilling his campaign promises?
Yeah, he's done a lot of things he promised he'd do. Yeah, he has. But
Almost
I
all
don't
of them,
agree
as a
with those
matter of
things he
fact.
promised.
No, I don't. That's not the thing. Do you think that the failure of the Biden presidency, when it comes to the economy, inflation, mortgage rates happening, or rising, and gas prices, you think all that has a lot to do with maybe in the House races across the nation? It seems that they're going to win back the House. The question is how badly. Do you think that's one of the main reasons that's going to happen? What do you contribute it to is what I'm saying.
Talking about the Republicans winning back the House?
Yeah, I mean, most everybody, even the Democrats, agree that they're going to win back the House. So what's the reasons they're going to win back the House?
Probably because of, I would say, inflation and the price of gasoline and stuff like that, probably.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, my question, this is what I can't figure out. I believe that the House is going to flip. I believe that when the smoke clears, that the governorships in the state, Republican governors will pick up a few seats more. And I believe all that. I believe that the main catalyst for all that is inflation and gas prices, the grocery store, the diesel prices, and sure, things you and I agree on. My question is, why is that not seen? It seems to me, now I could be wrong, but it seems to me that's not really translating over to the Senate election. And I'm trying to figure out why that is.
Over in the Senate, you've got some very extreme candidates being nominated by the Republican Party over there.
And I'd say that with the Democrats as well. When you look at, the AOCs, the Ilhan Omar's, specifically to your point, Fetterman in Pennsylvania. I mean, shit, he's to the left of Bernie Sanders, for God's sake. I mean, so
you can get extreme people elected in the House because we'll take Marjorie Taylor Greene and Boebert, Lauren Boebert. They're very extreme, but they're in districts that adhere to that sort of thing. But when you're talking about a Senate race, you're talking about the entire state.
That's a good point.
And
That's
you're just
a good
not
point.
going to get extreme candidates winning.
It's more in line with the presidential election because it's the entire state. I get that. That's a good point. So
the
the
same would be true. Like I think probably if AOC was running for Senate in the state of New York, it would be a lot more difficult for her to get the nomination.
I agree.
Or even win the general election there
Mm-hmm.
than for her to win in that district there, District 14 in which covers part of New York City.
No, I got you. I agree with that. So, do you think that if things were to stay the same right now, and let's take Donald Trump out of the mix, let's say he's not running for president in 2024, do you think the Republicans have a good chance, if things stay like they are now, do you think the Republicans have a good chance of taking the White House back because of economic reasons?
I think it depends on the Republican nominee. If it's somebody like Trump or DeSantis,
I just said Trump. I just said Trump's out of the picture.
DeSantis.
I mean, get Trump out of your brain, for God's sake, man. So why do you think this? I mean, look at the state of Florida, man. DeSantis, the state of Florida. Now for the first time ever, they have more Republicans registered to vote than they do Democrats, according to the last statistic I read. I'm assuming that the state of Florida still has a large number of people moving to the state of Florida from New York, California, and places like that, Chicago. I'm assuming that's the case still. Why is it, do you think DeSantis wouldn't be a good choice for the Republicans when you look at the state of Florida? And I think on November 22nd, you're going to see an absolute ass whipping over Charlie Crist. I mean, he is a horrible candidate for the left. So why would you think Ron DeSantis wouldn't be a good Republican nominee for president?
I think he's
not going to win. He's not going to win New York, and he's not going to win California, because those two states are extreme left. They're radical. So it don't matter who the nominee is. You're not going to get New York, and you're not going to get California. I mean, we know that. Probably not going to get Oregon or Washington State.
Whoever the Republican nominee is, if they hope to beat Biden, they're going to have to get all the Republicans to vote for him. And these,
I think that'd be pretty easy to do.
Again, but those people who've been loyal to Trump aren't going to get the votes of all Republicans.
If Trump's out of the picture, I just told you he's out. He's not running. He's irrelevant. If the choice is Joe Biden and interest rates at 6 or 7% and inflation at 8.5% and gas prices high, diesel still $5 a gallon, they're going to vote for DeSantis. They're not going to vote for Biden. Now, if it's not Biden and it's somebody else, that'd be a different discussion. But you said Biden. Ain't nobody going to vote for Biden over Ron DeSantis. That if the climate stays like it is now, there's not that many people that are male that wants to piss in the girl's bathroom.
I don't think that DeSantis could beat Biden. I think it would be difficult. The way things stand right now today, now 2 months ago, I would have said that he had a better chance. But the way things are today, with prices coming down, gas prices coming down, all that, I just think that plus, the Roe v. Wade, the Dobbs decision, that's having an effect on everything. That's making it more difficult for Republicans all the way around in every race out there. But it's going to take, I don't know. I think DeSantis was going to have trouble beating Biden. Now, there may be some other Republican out there who could beat him, but I just don't think DeSantis is the guy.
Well, I agree with the polls. DeSantis in a YouGov poll, DeSantis was ahead of Biden in the head-to-head matchup, with Republicans 85% to 3%, and with independents 30% to 24%. Registered voters preferred Biden to DeSantis 33% to 30%. Biden took 84% of the Democrats, meanwhile with 3% preferring DeSantis. So the numbers indicate that DeSantis would beat Biden pretty handedly in a head-to-head competition. And that's not hard to look at. That's right now, with the Fed about to raise the interest rate 3 basis points again, inflation still climbing, the income gap widening, black income down, Latino income down, white income down. It's not looking good. I don't think issues like abortion and guns, I don't think that's going to be more important to the average voter than their wallet.
I've heard you say income is down. What are you basing that on?
Just statistics.
I've heard you say that before. Under Trump, income was going up. Every year it went up, and under Biden, it's going down. But the data I looked at says it's still going up under Biden.
No. The gap between inflation and your income obviously is going down under Biden because inflation is outrunning the growth of the income. It's not rocket science. I mean, surely you got to agree with that. I mean, it's plain.
Yeah, well, inflation is a problem. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
so the
coming down, though,
so
right?
so your disposable income under Biden is less than it was with Trump. That's a problem.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
He's
so,
got
I
to
mean-
do something about that.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, but what is he
Or it
going
is
to
gonna
do?
be a problem.
Most people, most Bank of America, most brokerage houses, they're all predicting that inflation is going to continue. Some calling for a major recession if things don't change.
Let me ask you now. You were talking about DeSantis and all that. I know you didn't want to talk about Trump, but let's say Trump runs and he's the nominee. You think Trump can beat Biden?
I don't myself. I don't. I think that the mere presence of Trump on the ballot will motivate so many Democrats to the polls, and then also that so many people that just despise Trump that are independents, and then also some that are Republicans that despise him. I don't think he can beat him.
You think that it would carry over to the House and allow the Democrats to retain control of the House?
You mean in 2024?
Yeah. I mean, if they lose it, regain control back.
I think the earliest they could regain control back under that scenario would be 2026, but I think it would be a distinct possibility. Yes.
You haven't looked at what races or what seats are up for re-election and all that in 2024.
I have not. No.
Haven't really looked at it, but
no, I'm totally speculating with no basis in reality. Honestly, I haven't looked that far ahead.
You think Trump's going to run?
I mentioned that earlier, and I asked that. I don't know. I think if you made me pick a path right now, I would say no, but it'd be like 50.1 to 49.9. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't know.
I want to ask you about something. I'll ask you about it here on the air here. I would like to do a column on your Freedom Network's page. I could be a contributor like Penny Ponders and David Penny, I guess that's his name. I like to do something called Richard Responds, a column on there. What do you think of that?
Richard responds to what?
To everything, to anything I respond to.
Okay, not necessarily anybody directly, just Richard responds to.
Well, it might be like I did a response on Discord to the Penny Ponder thing called My Body, My Choice. I actually wrote a response to that, but I just put it on Discord. And
I didn't see
stuff
it.
like that. Just
I'd like you to email that to me because I don't think I can't get. I don't know if I can get back and find it, but if you still have a copy of it, I'd like you to forward that to my email. Let me read it.
Okay, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just a column, just a progressive column on your platform. That way you hear from the.
I can go ahead and tell you that
other
we're
side.
not going to have ever in the history of ever a progressive column on my website. I can just go ahead and tell you that. Now, if you were to feel the need or be tugged to write some sort of commentary, whether it's some sort of response to David Penny or Spencer Price or something I said on air or just something on your mind, if you wanted to opine on that and send that to me, I'll read it. And if I see a benefit to utilize that somehow, I'll take it into consideration. But as far as you having a spot on my website for a recurring column, the answer to that is a resounding no.
Why is that?
Because you're a Democrat.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent.
No, you're not. You're a
I'm
Democrat.
independent. Now I do, usually vote Democrat. But
You are
that's
a
not,
Democrat.
I'm not a corporate Democrat.
No, you're a Democrat. You're a liberal. Okay, would you go with that? Are you a liberal?
That way you have everybody represented, and you could say, hey,
No, I don't represent that. I represent the defense of freedom, and I believe that you are an enemy of freedom. So I wouldn't have you
I'm
on.
more of a friend of freedom than you are.
I'm sure you believe that. I don't disagree. I'm not going to argue that. I'm sure you believe that.
I mean, the key to freedom is Marxism. Just put it bluntly. Marxism is the key to freedom.
See, that's preposterous.
The other day you said something on your program when you were on with Joe. You said that socialism is evil. Now, when I heard you say that, I wanted to ask you a question. How many volumes of Marx have you read? 5, 10, 20? How many?
I've not read anything other than Marx's 10 planks. I mean, that's about
That's
all.
what every right wing person has read.
Well, I mean, when you
so
read
that's the
that, you don't
problem.
really know. When you read the 10 planks of communism, is there really a need to go any further, Richard? If you believe in the founding principles of the United States of America, if you believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, why the hell would you go any further than the 10 planks of communism in your study of whether or not Marxism is the key to freedom or not? That's
You think the 10
utterly
planks, what you call the
ridiculous.
10 planks, do you think that anything in there is evil?
Are you kidding me? Are
Like
you
public
being serious?
education, public transportation, is that evil to you?
Let me just read here the 10 planks of communism. Let's just humor you just a second, okay? 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto. Abolition of property in land and application of all rents of land to public purpose. I don't have to go any further than that.
That is in a communist system. No country's ever had that.
That's Karl Marx's 10 planks. That's number one.
Well, it's not evil. I mean, there's something evil about that.
There's nothing evil
you
about.
May not agree with. I don't agree with that.
Richard,
I don't agree with that any more than you do.
Richard, this is a stupid conversation.
That's not evil, though. That's just something
that
we
is,
don't agree with.
That is a threat to freedom. If you, let me tell you something. Seriously, I'm being dead serious. If you don't think that's a threat to freedom, I mean, why do you even call me?
If what it's talking about there is talking about
I'm
socialization,
reading
like
it. Don't try to explain it to me. Look at number 2. Now let's look at number 3. Number 2 is bad enough. That's graduated income tax, which it says a heavy progressive or graduated income tax. Number 3. Let me just ask you this: if you start a business and you're successful and you create a mass of wealth, money, property holdings, do you think you should be able to pass that down to your wife or to your children? Do you think you should have the right to do that? And do you think that they should have the right to inherit the fruits of your labor? Now, forget about taxing it. I'm saying, should you be able to leave your house and your holdings and your money to your children?
Yeah, I believe.
Okay, well then you can't possibly think Marxist is some sort of path to freedom, because Marx wanted to abolish that. He wants to abolish all rights of inheritance.
Right.
Okay. Then why in the hell are you telling me that Marxism is the key to freedom, Richard? I mean, I'm off the silly train for today. I'm not doing that. It's 8:35, and listen to the words coming out of my mouth. You won't hear his voice on this program again today. That ain't happening, Kevin. That ain't happening. I don't know. Sometimes he does manage to surprise me. And anyway, so the House, 3 things to watch. The government funding thing. Okay. With government funding set to expire at the end of this month, both chambers are expected to pass a stopgap funding extension to avert a shutdown. Stopgap funding bills are known on Capitol Hill as a continuing resolution. Kick the can on down the road. That's what we've been doing. So everybody wants to cut. Nobody wants to bleed. So that's not going to happen, right? Now, here's the problem with that. Again, I mentioned it earlier. There's 2 words that is a major, major problem with this continuing resolution, can kicking resolution. 2 words: Joe Manchin. The deal was struck with Joe Manchin by Chuck Schumer. Dude, we got to pass this, man. We need a win. The midterms are coming up. If we don't pass this, we're screwed. We may be screwed anyway, but we got to have it, Joe. Joe, come on, man. Got to play ball. Well, I honestly think this is a crappy bill, but I'll tell you what. You got to scratch my back, Chucky. If you promise me, if you assure me that this gas pipeline can come through my state from Virginia down into West Virginia, it's natural gas pipeline, then I'll swallow it and I'll vote yes. But you better damn well promise me that it's going to happen. Okay, let me get back to you, Joe. Hey, Nancy. All right, I got it done. Here's the deal. Joe's on board. Nancy says, you kidding me? How'd you do that, Chuck? That's fantastic. What'd you do? Well, I promised him that we got to get that we're going to pass this gas line through West Virginia. Oh, God, man. I don't know, Chuck. I don't know, man. I don't know if we can do that or not. Well, we got to. We're going to get the vote. We got to do it. Let me call you back. So Nancy calls and she talks to a few people. She calls Chuck back. Okay, Chuck, I got it done. Make the promise. We'll do it. Tell him we'll do it. He calls Joe back. All right, Joe, we in. Okay, now. All right, Chuck, you ain't going to screw me, right? You're telling me y'all going to pass it. You got the votes? Yeah, we got it, man. We good. All right, I'm in. So Joe Manchin goes and votes. Well, now, evidently, Chuck has made a promise that he might not be able to keep. So he's either got to shove it up Joe Manchin's rear, or he's got to piss off about 75 progressives in the Democrat Party in order to get it passed. What path's he going to take? I don't know. Let's see here. Let's back up here. According to the Marxists that I've talked to on social media, they are willing to jail and kill people for their lands and factories. That's part of the Communist Manifesto words, no doubt. So I believe that the most monumentally stupid thing that Richard Marx has ever said on this program in the history is that Marxism was the pathway to freedom. All I did was go down the first 2 or 3 planks of the Communist Manifesto and blew that right out of the water. Blew it out of the water with number 1. Joe says Marx wanted to justify a system where he dedicated everything about how we should live. He got rich off our backs, was free of any personal responsibility, and he got praised for being the smartest, most moral person who ever lived. 31 trillion, enough said. Budget request 1 million. Prior year budget 700,000. Budget denied. Report Republicans cut spending by $300,000. That's Washington math. What the joke says, I asked them if they could stomach that, and they are typically coy about it, but some seem enthusiastic about it. The prospect of making an example out of the bourgeois. I can't say that word. What if you got kicked into a FEMA camp and Richard walked in and introduced themselves as your re-education professor? Y'all would witness an ass whipping there, Charlie. That's what you'd see. I have to go. Y'all have a great day. That's called Revenge. James William Holt, I don't know about you, but I ain't no B word. But if they are wishing to meet Jesus, as Joe said, I can help arrange the meeting. If you make it to inside a FEMA camp, you didn't fight hard enough. That's exactly right. Yep, we all have lines. You ain't gonna catch me in a FEMA camp unless it's dragging my dead carcass through the gate into the FEMA camp. Ted Cruz nails something fundamental about Donald Trump in 2024. Y'all can read that if you want to. Let's go over to the gas or the oil price. Brent crude trading at $92.84 a barrel. That's up 4.14%. CoinGecko today, 22,153.35 is up 10.9% over the past 7 days. So it's bouncing back. Dow futures are up 100 points as we speak this morning. U.S. debt at $30.884 trillion. It's a lot of dough right there, man. What else have I got pulled up here? Let's look at, where is my, I guess I X out of it. Well, let's go to the phone line. I'd rather talk to y'all about what y'all want to talk about. Don't forget, Doughboys next Monday night, the 19th, 7 p.m. Big meeting. I need everybody there because we're going to figure some stuff out that night. I need y'all's input. Good morning, caller. You're on the Valdosta Transmission Hotline. What's on your mind today?
Number 2 call. I was listening to Richard talk or describe Medicaid and the Affordable Health Care Act, I believe those two funds are separate. I do not think that the Affordable Health Care Act monies fund Medicaid. Medicaid is
No, it
funded
shouldn't.
by federal
yeah.
and state money, as I understand it.
Well, Medicaid came decades ago, way before the Affordable Health Care Act. So I assume you're probably correct.
I think they're designed to serve two different uninsured segments of our population too. I think the Affordable Health Care Act is really designed more with the market structure to purchase for people that are underinsured or can't get insurance through conventional channels to acquire assurance through these markets. That he's right. Georgia did pass on contributing to the Affordable Health Care Act. So it's in Georgia, the market is totally 100% federal money, I believe. And that does limit the choice of providers that you can get. I know some people that have had to go to the Affordable Health Care Act, and it's really hard to find providers. And one more follow up on that. I don't know if it was 66,000 jobs. It was 60. It was between 62 to 66. I saw a couple different numbers, and I'm driving down the road here. I can't look it up right now, but I'm telling you, I'm totally convinced that this surplus we have in this state, Stacey Abrams, through this Medicaid expansion, will put us on the path of deficit spending. No doubt about that, because there's just no details in her plan.
Yeah, there's not. The Affordable Health Care Act doesn't really it doesn't really have much as I can see right here. It doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the money part of it. The Medicaid program is jointly funded by the federal and state government, and at least 50% of each state's Medicaid funding is matched by the federal government, although the exact percentage varies by state. Medicaid is the largest source of federal funding that states receive. Now, the ACA also made a number of other significant Medicaid changes, such as preventing states from reducing children's Medicaid eligibility, setting a uniform standard for children's eligibility, streamlining eligibility, enrollment, and renewal processes, and updating payments. The Affordable Care Act's Medicaid expansion expanded Medicaid coverage to nearly all adults with incomes up to 138% of the federal poverty level, which at the time was $17,774 a year, and provided states with an enhanced federal matching rate for their expansion population. So I don't know how much money that is. Even they don't know in the analysis, and that's from the CBO Congressional Budget Office. So I don't know. If they don't know, we damn sure don't know.
The number I believe in the article was $30,000 with 3 children is the national threshold for poverty level, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have a household income of $30,000, you have 3 dependent children, you're at poverty level nationally.
Yeah.
But I make 3 times that. Well, not quite 3 times that. And I have no children. I ain't got no damn money. So I feel sorry for anybody trying to raise children on $30,000 a year. Probably need all the help they can get.
No, you're not buying insurance at $30,000 a year with 3 kids. There's just no way. You're not doing it.
No. And I think that's what the Affordable Health Care Act was designed to do, to help these folks out. But again, politics got in the way, the regulations. It's just a nightmare. One other quick thing. I know you're getting ready to wind in the show down. I wanted to mention this before because you talked about it early in the show with what's going on in education. She's also quoted as saying, we have got to stop teaching students 20th century values in education in the 21st century. And I think we should ponder what that means in the current environment, because I'm pretty sure I know what it means.
Well, I think we should go back to the morals and the principles of 1776 myself.
Like you go to the boys John and you go to the girls John based on your gender. Going to 1776, they probably had outhouses.
Yeah, and I don't think they had community outhouses. They probably didn't have more than one person at a time. They have public events and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know, man.
I tell you what, I was driving through the bowels of West Virginia in 1987, and they still had outhouses there, some up on the Tug River. Believe it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We're just in a very strange time, bro. We just really are. It's a very strange.
We are, but it's real complicated. The Medicaid and the insurance. I mean, I think it'd be a good thing for people to expand the availability and people to become insured, to get more people to acquire insurance. Sure, that's good, but I'd be interested to see some of these states that are boasting almost 100% compliance with the Affordable Health Care Act that bought into the whole thing. I'd love to see what their state surpluses are. I just like to see the full picture put out for one time.
Well, here the problem is somebody like me that has, studied the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, who have read the Federalist Papers, the Anti-Federalist Papers, who have really tried to get into the minds of what we were supposed to look like here in 2022. We all agree that we're way, both sides have got to agree we're way away from anything that resembles what anybody thought they would see if they could advance themselves in time 200 years. Some of the things you got to ponder is look, can we go back to what we were intended to be? I'm afraid that the answer is no. I hate to say that, but there's nothing out there that would indicate that we could get back to that by any action that I took, by any action that I encouraged people that listen to the show to take. I don't see us getting back there. So could we get back there over a long period of time? Yeah, but it'd be after me and you were gone. So the question becomes, do I try to fight that battle and educate people younger than me as to what's about to come down, and here's how you fight your way through it? Or do I try to fight for whatever I have left? That's the question. That's the position that we find ourselves in. So,
yeah, I agree. And I think a little of both, but it is really key to get these young people, the age of your children, especially these young teenagers, to understand where we come from, what the principles of this country are, and how to move forward. Because I think the founders with the Constitution have staked some wide guideposts for us to weave our legislation and regulatory law and administrative law. All of that needs to go between those guideposts. I think they're wide enough, but we're finding it really hard to come to terms to find the right pathway and to oversimplify it.
As it relates to healthcare, you being in the healthcare industry, in your lifetime, Troy, have you ever heard a veteran or a Air Force or Army or Marine or Navy person that has TRICARE or VA insurance? Have you ever heard many complaints about how they run that healthcare operation?
Well, I was raised by a Navy veteran.
Okay.
And so I had a front row seat to it. He had complaints, my father, about some of it, but I think overall he stayed with it. And when he had the option to get out into the private sector, he stayed with the military, with VA benefits. Actually, he had retiree benefits, so he could go utilize military hospitals, and right up to the end. When I lived in Maryland, I would drive him to Walter Reed after he had a stroke for his follow-ups. In Washington, D.C., we lived a ways out of town, but I'd drive him there. Of course, he couldn't drive because his sight was somewhat impaired from the stroke. And I think overall his experiences there were good. His care was good. Okay.
Yeah, I did a poll one time among people with VA care, and I think the majority were satisfied with their care, but there was a good bit. My nose is bleeding for some reason. There were a good many that were aggravated with their care. But as I look back on that, I think that I think people are going to have, you know, problems or complaints with anything they've got. But I think overall, the VA, those with VA care, are appreciative of it. They don't have many real complaints as far as like waiting or standing in line or being, you know, denied services or things like that. Things you hear out of Canada with government run healthcare. But I wonder what the public, if the public somehow thought we could have VA care or Medicare. I don't hear anybody complaining about Medicare. So if the standard of care was equal to Medicare and VA care, I wonder if the public would be willing to accept government run healthcare if they felt like it was going to be as good as Medicare or the VA care. I wonder if they would accept it.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this. By the time you and I are on Medicare, over half of this nation is going to be on some type of public health care.
Yeah,
between Medicaid and Medicare alone. Over 50% is going to be on it.
And see, that's the problem. That's the problem I see coming down the pike. We're not going to be able to pay for it. If you look at the unfunded liability of just Medicare, it's catastrophic, man. I don't know how. I mean, how are we going to pay for that?
I don't know.
And it's going to get higher.
As long as this petro fiat money of ours is in global demand, we can pay for it. The day it isn't, that's the day it all crumbles. And I don't know. After that, your guess and your answer is as good as mine or anybody else that's listening to this.
Yeah. Right now we're spending, and it's multiplying at a rate that you can't count. $1.4 trillion is being spent on Medicare and Medicaid together right now. It's just incredible, and it's just going to get worse and worse. I mean, we're at a deficit.
Hangs in there another 25 or 30 years for me and you, brother.
Yeah.
And then this next generation is going to have to figure it out. Your kids are going to have to figure it out. Your kids and grandkids.
I mean, our checkbook, when you look at liabilities, okay, we have $171 trillion going out in the red. We're minus $171 trillion. That's Social Security, Medicare, other unfunded liabilities. That's a liability over $500,000 for every single citizen in the United States.
And I'm back to, as long as that dollar has value, we're out of the red zone. And that dollar has value because now you step into the geopolitical world of it. Are we going to remain a world power? Are we going to remain a world economic power, military power? And I see that waning. And that's the perfect storm coming. And we've talked about it before. I don't know what it looks like when it comes crashing down, but it's not going to be pretty.
We owe $22 trillion to Social Security recipients. We're in a negative that much. So as we enter, I mean, you and I, we're part of we're the biggest segment of the population thereabouts, and we're all going to hit the Social Security market at the same time. And we ain't got the money to pay it. I don't know what's going to happen. I think the shit's going to hit the fan in the next 10 years.
Well, all I know, brothers, I want mine. They've been in my pocket since the 1970s.
You may want it.
I want it back.
You may want it.
And I'll be too old to do anything about it. So I guess they got me. So,
yeah. All right. Good.
Bitch about it in my wheelchair.
That's right. That's right. Good call. Appreciate it, T-Rex.
All right, man.
All right. See you, man. 229-469-1417. Got about 4 minutes. Renee says, let's be honest, no Social Security for me. I can't remember how old you are, Renee. I know I'm 55, And I'm with you. I don't know that I'm gonna get it. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but it ain't looking good. I don't know how it's going to work. Waterjug says, what is the horizon on that unfunded liability number? I don't know. I just don't know. Renee's 58. Geez, man, I don't know. I don't know if we will or not, Renee. Renee, she said something. I've been meaning to talk about this a little bit. She says she still feels uneasy about the November 22nd election taking place. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't bet against it. Some things are just lining up, and it's. I think about this Ukraine-Russia thing. Russia's getting their ass kicked, if you believe the reports. They're pulling back. Is Vlad going to just accept that? Or is he going to attempt to drop some major N-bombs over there? You know what I mean? If that were to happen, and then we stepped in to try to stop it along with some other people, we could be launched into a horrible world war, and then the election could be at jeopardy. I could see that happening. I'm not predicting it necessarily. I mean, this would have to happen in less than 60 days. But I would not. I just would not bet against Renee. I wouldn't, and I hate that, but I just wouldn't. I don't know. Doughboys again. I want to reiterate this. Now, this is very, very important, and I'm serious. Now, I need y'all to come to Doughboys. I don't care if you eat. If you just get there, I want some feedback. I want to discuss it. It may be, depending on how many's there, it may be a pretty long meeting. We may have to end up getting out in the parking lot and getting on the tailgates. I don't know, but I got a lot of stuff I want to go over on the night of the 19th, and I need some feedback, and I need some discussion, and this is something that's got to take place face to face. Okay, it's and we may do it. We may do another one, may not. I don't know, but I'd like to see a bunch of people there, because I want to do right by you guys. Okay, to me, this is bigger than me. And I want y'all's input on this, and I need to know which direction we've got to go. So, having said that, Monday night, Doughboys 19th, I got to be there. Why's it got to be all the way up in Adel? It's a long way from your house, I know, Mary, but it is what it is. We meet that night. We may do another one. I may do another one in Valdosta, maybe down in Lake Park. I don't know. I'll work on that. I get it, but I need some. I want it. I got to make some decisions. It's driving me nuts. I see a lot of potential here, and I got to pick a path. So y'all tune in. Joe Bakanovic is next at 9:05 Eastern. You've been listening to the Freedom Network's brand of show called Freedom with Steve Nichols. I appreciate you tuning in. We will be back on tomorrow morning, and thank you for tuning in.
We at Freedom with Steve Nichols want to thank each and every one of you for listening. Together, we will protect, defend, and promote the freedom as our founding fathers envisioned. We believe in the spirit of the Declaration of Independence and strive to protect that spirit daily. Please thank and utilize the goods and services of our sponsors and advertisers every chance you get. For now, we bid you farewell. Have a great day.